Oh, good. I did appear. Excellent. This is good. This is good. Hello. Hello. How are we doing? Is it all everything excellent? Yes? Hands? Are the hands now going to show up? Oh, yes, they do. Ah. High five for hands puns. Yes. Oh, it works. The tracking is so much better. I also have like anti-aliasing stuff. I managed to figure that out compared to like the previous video when I had not as good stuff. What's wrong with that? That's a thing that should be working. There's so much technology just going on. It is crazy tough. This needs to work. That button needs to be higher. Why is that button not higher? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hands appearing in the most seriously toned video thus far. Yeah, I know. I know. I had to balance it. I didn't like the idea that, oh, it's going to be, oh, it's miserable and super tough. No, just need the hands. Face looks softer than usual. Good. Good. It's much better and working, which I like. Yeah, we did have PS2 hands. Oh, it's even got me scratching my head. Oh, this is so weird. I can't do like the micro movements that I normally do, like randomly just stroking my chin. It recognizes where my chin is. Yes. Yes. This is not fine. Don't do that. Bad hand. Bad hand. Bad hand. Audio is crunchy. If I do that, is audio now better? Yes, good. Thoughts on how far back up Custodia is going to shoot in the rankings? Yeah, maybe. I was thinking of maybe doing them towards the end, because they're a faction I know less about. Do Custodians now get the feel no pain against devastating wounds? They do. That was their big major change. Someone is magnetizing chain fist power options for power fists for Terminators. The new Terminators look quite nice. Yes, I'm not going to buy them. We've established that I have too much Warhammer already, so we're not going to get any more models for them. Audio is better. Good. One of the numbers was not the right number. Yeah. I'm sorry, Lisa. I didn't mean to. We need peace signs instead. Like, everything's fine. It's all good. Single thing. Yeah. I'm seeing this on like 3 different screens and trying to get the hand things working. I've tried putting like black dots on my fingers so that it tracks them. Don't do that. Bad hand. So it tracks them better. Or white dots, but it just doesn't seem to work. It seems to vaguely know where hands are anyway. Odd number, you finally made it to a stream. Welcome. Much better. So the audio is now good. Excellent. People are fine and happy. It's a Sunday. This is a better version of the model, which I've managed to update. I've seen, I don't know, kind of, do I seem bustier to you? Like, the chest is more pronounced? Is that weird? I don't know if that's something I should work on as just a feature rather than a bug. A bit bustier, or not bustier. That's fine. I just wonder if I've got, like, default tracking for generic female. Hello, Christian. Usually part of the VOD gang. Welcome to being live instead of part of VOD gang. I'm trying to do streaming at different times so that it kind of catches more people. I'm hoping, in theory, that the next stream I can do in like a random morning for the UK so that people in like the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand can get that in the evening. And that'll work. Just means that people in like the United States, it would be the middle of the night or midnight. But I don't know how many people are up at like 2 a.m. in United States. Don't know what happens then. It always surprises you that Carlisle is in England, not Scotland. I think it sounds like a Scottish town. Oh, I was thinking it's always like Welsh because Carlisle and Cardiff sound very similar. Yep, just scratching my own shoulder. That's normal. I'm only using one hand right now. Why is it tracking two? Never mind. All the freaks up at night, especially if at the same time. Yeah. You have a schedule for fighting crime. Oh, the schedule of a crime fighting caffeinated vampire. Very nice. Yeah. Oh, did we also like glasses? I can't put glasses on this particular model. It's either hands or glasses, not both. But do we like glasses? Because I can put glasses on more often. I can definitely do more of a... And now I'm wearing glasses, so you know that it's a very, very serious topic. Maybe. Monocle. Ooh, that's a thought. I could do a monocle, but I would have to have a posh character. Maybe when I do more of the comedy sketches, I could do a monocle for one of the two, as well as the mustache. Glasses and the thing where I push them up in the anime. Ah, that's the thing. I can't do the, like, finger to the head and also have the glasses. Also, when I put my hand in front of my face, it stops tracking everything. So that's a problem. Haha. But I can do that. Aha! You're fallen into my trap. Yeah, it's definitely, well, I mean, it's rented. The castle is rented rather than something that I own. And Daddy doesn't own a castle. Oh, it flips. Oh, okay. If I stand up and then I start moving. Oh, it tracks the hair. Oh, that's very bouncy. Oh, that's too bouncy. Oh, dear. Okay. Let's see if I can get the working. Okay, that's on, and then I can interact with it. Good. Good. Okay, I need to have a smaller chat. Otherwise, you're going to be blocking everything, but that's okay. I put you like that. Is that small or too small? Oh, it looks so small. Oh, no. Renting a castle is still Warhammer money. Mm-hmm. It absolutely is. I can make it a bit bigger. I do have so many software things running at once. That is bigger. That works. Yeah. Okay, now if people type in the chat, then it should give more chat stuff. And that should work, and then we can see chat and also have the tier list. I thought do it as a tier list, it's easier to see. It might be harder to add on. We'll see what they look like. They may look really small. They look incredibly small on my screen, but as long as you've got them color-coded, and I can read them out so that people can see, and then the visual stuff will just depend on putting it on full screen, which is full screen. Full screen! Ah! No, that was a half screen. Full screen. Yes. So we have, in the red at the top, they're going to end up, at least by 40k Games Workshop standards, over 56%. Then we go down to up to 55%. So that's like kind of high. So I don't know, like 54, 53 maybe. And then we have about 50%, which is good. So I'll put it in blue. There's no 69% tier. Ah, well, we haven't got any factions up to 69% so far. As far as I know, not even like right at the start, because Eldar was 67%, which was like they're winning 2/3 of their game, which is a lot. Do I play any Age of Sigmar at all? I do. I have Sol Bligat Gravlords, and I also have Skaven. I haven't played much 3rd edition. 3rd edition was kind of a bit of a turn off for me generally. The rules got too lawyery, I think is the term. And yep. And then there was all of the respawning stuff and people getting more health It wasn't as good. I like second edition though, but I still do and can play Age of Sigmar. I still need to play a game of, or more games of the old world to see how that's doing. Yeah, that should be okay. It's a very different, older way of playing. Once Emperor's Children army, I'm sure they'll have 69% win rate. Probably. And we'll get an amazing Fulgrim that's just far too powerful. Far too powerful. Does win rate account for armies playing themselves because that was what that would pull armies closer to 50%? Well, it depends on how they're doing. If you're performing really poorly, so the Goonhammer ones, they make sure to exclude any mirror matches. I don't know if the Warhammer Games Workshop stuff does. So if you're really high up, like if Eldar end up playing Eldar at the top tables, there was a joke that I made for the start of the 10th edition, that the reason that Eldar were losing 1 out of 3 games was because they were mirror matches. So that's where it pulls it down. Whereas if you're doing really badly and you get a mirror match, then it pulls your faction win rate up. So you could be the worst performing, say Deathwatch were absolutely terrible, and they were the worst performing matches, and then it ended up that at the bottom tables where there's a load of Deathwatch players, they end up playing each other, that pulls their win rate up. Whereas if they were ended up just playing entirely other factions, they would keep being smushed. Games Workshop doesn't care enough to leave out mirror matches? Probably. Or you think Games Workshop includes it? Yeah. That would account for, yeah, since it's a metric that means that all of the armies get pulled closer to 50% anyway, which Games Workshop wants, I think they probably would include mirror matches. Yeah. What Primarch do you think will come back next? Do you think Jakati Khan, Yagatai Khan, or Fulgrim? I think it's probably going to end up being Fulgrim. Yeah. We've just had a loyalist one, so it'll be another traitor one. You started in fall. Fall is autumn. Fall is autumn. And as a Stormbringer. Ooh, yes. The Age of Sigmar stuff can be really cheap. And people seem to not get, like, really addicted to Age of Sigmar stuff. It's just, oh yeah, I've got some cool models. That's great. We're a miniatures company, not a rules balancing company. Yeah. Yeah. When you compare Games Workshop's win rate stuff to other people tracking it, it is a bit different. Definitely. And I haven't got my win rates things, but that's in the background, so I can reference that. Okay, I'll explain some more of the tier list stuff. Then we have the as low as 45%, which is representing, come on hand, bit lower. They're okay. They could be better. And then we have the really bad stuff at like 44% or lower, which is not doing any kind of victories. Age of Sigmar range is a lot smaller as well. So yeah, it's not like, oh, I need one of every unit of Space Marine. That is a lot of points. Yeah. If your army is terrible, you can still stomp Space Wolves, you'd be happy. That's good. I think Space Wolves are doing all right. Yeah, they say they try and track even kitchen games. Yeah, they have some... We report, maybe Games Workshop staff like report their own things at home. Bring Yagatai back as a Drukhari slave. I think the Drukhari are also doing well enough. So, the faction I was going to start with is the Necrons. So, the Necrons are really fun to play against. I've played, I guess, 4 games now against Necrons. And there's no longer lots of stacking on the Lich Guard. That was very much an index rule. But what you're getting is a lot of points and abilities stacked onto the Immortals. And that's making the Immortals really good. Sure, they've only got 1 wound and a 3+ save, but their toughness is 5. So that's like a Battle Sister with 2 more toughness. Yeah. You want your main army to perform so badly they get a chance to get buffed. Dunno. Genestealer Cult are going to be increasingly doing badly, and I can't see a massive aha, now we play Genestealer Cult. They'll just wait till the Codex, and that'll be how they do it. Yeah, so I wouldn't hope for being bad. What are the reanimations like in 10th edition? Now there's been quite a bit of difference between how they worked in the Index compared to how they work in the Codex. There was a lot of reanimation shenanigans going on in the Index, where it was like Necron warriors would get D6 models back. That was their special rule. But now it's moved on to they get D3 back, but they can re-roll it. If you have an Overlord with a Resurrection Orb, then you get D6 models back. So an Overlord with a Resurrection Orb in a massive squad of like 20 Necron warriors is pretty good. And because if you're doing it in the Awakened Dynasty detachment, those Necron warriors are now hitting on a 3+. That's a pretty decent firing block. But most people are going for Immortals, because Immortals hit on a 3+, and even in Awakened Dynasty, you add a character to the unit, just by adding any character, you're now hitting on a 2+. And so people are putting all of their stacking things on the Immortals. Yeah, the Warriors definitely did become bad. Yeah. Oh, you could have Leman Russ come back, and then you'd be like, ah! There'll be lots of memes of him like pointing at a tank, and the tank pointing back and going, it's me, it's you, it's me. We're both each other. Yeah. Should I start my first army with the meta in mind, or do I go full-on vulture meme spam? Definitely do not start an army with the meta in mind. The meta has changed 4 times in the like 9 months since the edition started. So Votann were terrible, then they're amazing, now they may be mid, we're going to talk about it. So, oh, Lisa, I do love a good Chuckle Brothers. Yeah, go crazy stuff, whatever you want. As long as it's a feasible army, so I wouldn't go too strong on flyers or fortifications or what's the other stuff they don't like? Artillery. That may be working. You could do artillery in some armies. The Imperial Guard quite like artillery, but not all the time. Yeah, no slacking. Full Demon Engine army for the Night Lords. Nice choice, nice choice. Yeah, you only meta chase if you have enough to buy an army that's already painted, then sell that army as soon as they become not good. Or if you bought an Eldar army, you can just keep that forever. Yeah, I got hands. Thank you, MacJ. Hands. It's definitely an upgrade or a change. A side grade? We'll call it a side grade. Yeah, pick the army that looks coolest to you. I have a video on how to pick your first army. If you just go to my channel, it's the one that auto plays just under like the title. So that one, and that gives you a little quiz essentially for which army you should pick to start with. Yeah. Coming to 40k from Age of Sigmar, I have no idea how many sisters and things you should start with. You can vaguely track for like 500 points is a nice starting place. That could go. 3 Venom Crawlers and a Mauler Fiend. Which one's the Venom Crawlers? Oh, they have such similar names. Oh, yeah, it's a little tick-looking one. That's an okay little creepy thing. Yeah. If you pick Eldar, most of the meta units won't be buyable due to being sold. Oh, yes. That is a problem with like Shadow Spectres. They are sold out completely. Yeah. Does it replace the hands? The flesh is weak. No, I need my hands. I just got hands. It's taken me a while to get hands. I've been planning to have hands for like a month or so. Then I got the software. Then I knew how to use the software. That's why we've had not as many videos in the last week. Whereas this coming week, I'm thinking of just doing a Battle Sister week. I think that'll be a nice change from what I've been doing, which is like, oh, meta stuff and all the factions. Like this video is all of the factions. I'll just do a week of Battle Sisters, and that'll be nice. But that long how to play Sisters at 1000 points, it's at least 40 minutes, and I need it to not be that long. And that's like 40 minutes after me recording it, because whatever the length of any of my videos are, I promise I talked for 3 times as long and was just like, nope, I've said that already, or I said it better in a different way, or I can say it better and cut stuff out. So yes. You want it to be 40 minutes. Okay. It just depends if I can keep people's interest. Because I don't like doing the like Channel 4 game show thing of, and then this is going to happen, then there's going to be an explosion, and then we switch over here, and then zoom, and then loud noises. I just find that annoying. So it is just going to be me talking to a screen. I could do that. We'll see. Thousand Suns currently hamstring by their detachment. I wonder if they'll get like a Zangor more focused detachment. Because you can run 1,000 Suns army with all Zangors. That's pretty cool. You could do that. Yeah. Necrons definitely need an increase to the C'tans. Yes. The Technomancer, but not the Wraiths going up in price? Yeah, the Wraiths are pretty good. They tend to lack damage output, except if you're going very much the... My hand okay? Yeah. If you go very much into the Canoptic Court. What else have we got? I mean, the Awakened Dynasty is still good. People are thinking of like, oh, the Hypercrypt Legion, where you're teleporting things all over the place. But Awakened Dynasty has an enhancement that lets you teleport one unit. So if you have, oh, here's my really good massive Lichguard blob, now it's right next to you. That can be good. That can work. So Awakened Dynasty is still a good detachment. The Flayed ones, no, not the Flayed ones, the Murder, the Destroyer detachment, I can't remember what it's called. It's not meant for the Locust Destroyers. It's meant for the Scorpeth Destroyers. Flayed ones, though. Flayed ones are really quite scary. They can infiltrate. They have stealth. Yes, that's what it's called. Thank you. The Annihilation Legion. Please buy Zangors. This is a good detachment. We promise we won't nerf it. That is very Games Workshop. I think that may be what they're going to do with the Kroot as well. Please buy all of our Kroot. And then we definitely won't nerf the Kroot. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea, Darkja. Stop the Technomancer from being amazing, but not the Wraiths. Yes. So the Flayed ones, they're... You know Arcoflagellants. You know Arcoflagellants because you, of course, all play Sisters. Sisters are an amazing faction. Sisters are what we're here for, along with other things. So, yeah, they have Sustained Hits 1, and they have Twin Linked. So, it's criminally bad? Yeah, it could be better. It could be better. It's very much focused on working right. Having a lot of Flayed ones, though, they're about as tough as an Arcoflagellant, and I think they're 1 point cheaper than an Arcoflagellant, at least with the new Arcoflagellant points. So Flayed ones, pretty nasty. I don't like Flayed ones. And with stealth, they're hard to shoot out. Yeah, we really did get a new Kroot before melee battle suits, good lord. Yeah. I don't know if they're ever going to do melee battle suits. It just doesn't suit Tau. I know they do for Games Workshop. It's like, here's a shooting thing. What if there was a combat version of it? So they've done that with the Necron Destroyers. They did that with Celestians. They was like, oh, we'll do a combat Celestian unit, and then we'll get rid of the shooting Celestians. As an Age of Sigmar player, Zangors are never sold out. I suppose if they did a Zangor detachment, you could buy the Zangors for your 1,000 Suns army, and then play Age of Sigmar. That could work. Cyber Toast. Yeah, I've seen that meme before. My dad works at Games Workshop. He'll send your whole army to Legends. And I won't care, because I still play Legends units. Yeah. Yeah, Games Workshop does not like multi-game armies, like the Chaos Demons. Catan? Okay, well, I'll actually talk about the stuff, because that's what a lot of people will be here for. Catan are definitely a problem. I haven't faced any Catan yet. In fact, I haven't faced the Hypercrypt Legion detachment yet, but I will. The teleporting monoliths, the teleporting Catan, that can be a problem. Whatever the problem was with the Yinkan, then we're going to see that, but with Catan instead. Catan are probably too cheap, yes. Ooh, hello, Valoran the Lost. There we go. I got the name. Hello. Yeah. So that's annoying. And when you got a stratagem so that you can teleport 3 inches from the enemy, so it doesn't matter how good you are at screening, then the monolith can come in that space and more people can come out there. Should bring back the phase out rule. Maybe they should. I don't know if it would work as well with 10th edition and the way that likes to work, where it's like, oh yeah, super powerful Necrons, but if you can kill enough of them, then you're gonna win, or they would disappear. It could work. It could work. It relies on the Necrons not only keeping the pressure on you, but also scoring points, and for you to have killed the Necrons quick enough to then have enough time to still score points. It could work. It could work. Yeah. You don't like fighting stuff with invuln saves and feel no pain? You gotta get more devastating wounds. That's how it goes. Yeah. The monolith is 7-inch squared? I thought it was like 5-inch squared. Although I may be thinking of the old, like 3rd edition Necron monolith model rather than the newer one. Interesting. A cat rolling around on the keyboard could write better rules than Games Workshop. Oh. Yeah. God, don't get that. You just get bonus AP. I see. Well, what you've got to do then is lots of bullets. Lots of bullets will do far better than a really good shot. Yeah. That's how the guard have to go. Attrition. Final was determined by a pretty large misplay. Oh, right. Recent tournament. Necrons are strong, but I don't think they're excessive. Outside of the Catan. Maybe for the nerfs and stuff, we should just look mainly at the Catan. But the problem we're seeing for the meta is because the Hypercrypt Legion seems so powerful, people are taking a lot of anti-deep striking stuff. And who does that hurt? The Genestealer Cult. The Daemons. I mean, Demons don't have to do deep strike. They have a stratagem that lets them advance and charge, which is really good when you're pretty much a melee army. But it definitely hurts the Genestealer Cult. Yeah. Will we get the most obvious faction in its place before the stream is half an hour old? I guess. Yeah, okay, I'll put it on. Where'd I put it? Right. Now I'm going to find the symbol. Necrons. Necrons go there. There we go. They're in their place. Did I have anything else to say about Necrons other than they're going to mess up the meta? No, they're very high. I think they'll definitely be over 55%. So, another detachment, no, another army that does a lot of teleporting are the Grey Knights. Now, they still don't have a lot of great anti-tank. They do have better Dread Knights, which is their really big, even bigger than Dreadnoughts things that are not knights, but are big. They're really tough. 2+ save on everything, because they all have Artificer armor. I think this is the first edition where the Grey Knights' toughness has felt about right. They're not just, oh, we're Space Marines and we're Psychers. We have 2+ saves on everybody. That isn't meant to be the hand symbol I'm making. No one look at the screen. There we go. And they have really nice Terminators. Their Terminators are battle line, which is really nasty. Yeah. Yeah, so, oh, that's maybe another thing. Yes, we're seeing a lot of deep strike denial. So, Marines have good deep strike denial. We'll see the Clamorous more often. You want to know how to use the Genestealer Cult Clamorous? I have a video on the Clamorous. Yeah, how do we deal with Marine Scouts? Because they just appear and disappear and run around the board. They're not super awful, Marine Scouts, and they went up in price, so they're more reasonable in their price. I find that a small amount of bullets is usually enough to deal with Space Marine Scouts. Yeah, 12-inch deep strike blocking, that's the sort of thing we're going to see, which is going to hurt the Genestealer Cult, and it's going to hurt the Grey Knights a bit. You're disappointed the Necrons didn't get a Mephrys Dynasty equivalent that focused mostly on shooting. I've never really tracked all of the dynasties compared to all of the detachments with the Necrons, because I know there is one that was like, oh, we turn to dust and light and pretty clouds of shiny things and teleport across the battlefield. Yeah. You're thinking Grey Knights are going to be low. Maybe. Would it be a good idea to take some anti-infantry, or is it better to go all on one thing? I think you're going to want a lot of anti-infantry. We're seeing a lot of infantry stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so Battle Sisters may be putting out more flamers to do Overwatch when things teleport. But the Grey Knights have the toughness to be survivable. Also, there's a cool thing. I don't know if I've seen it at tournaments, but Terminators are battle line, which means you can put Inquisitors with them. So if you have a generic Inquisitor with Grey Knight Terminators, now you have access to grenades. Now you're getting your stratagem back on a 3+. So a very large block of them, and you can regenerate stratagems on a 3+. That's pretty nice. Yeah, the Grey Knights could be hurt because of the anti-deep striking stuff. In the meta as it stood, the Grey Knights were somewhere. Oh, just below mid. I was thinking there might be high. Otherwise, are we thinking mid? We can go with mid. Mild buffs and a nerf to their abilities, the new meta's anti-D-striking. Yeah. That's the thing. The Necron Hypercrypt. People are going to be countering that, which also counters Grey Knights. Okay, I will go with what you say. I will put them in the middle. Once I find the little symbol. Is that Grey Knights? That looks like Grey Knights. That's Space Wolves. Totally different. Did they count as a stat? Where are they? Got such small symbols. There's a Grey Knight. I maximize it. Yeah, they were on 48%. I think they'll be able to get to about 50%. So maybe 1 or 2 percentage points lower, 1 or 2 percentage points higher. Yeah. Good morning. Okay, next one. I went with the Genestealer Cult since we're talking all about the deep striking stuff. So, as we've all played Genestealer Cult, we know that we're not getting to respawn very often. And a lot of people are taking faster things to just get around the board. We're thinking bottom? Well, I'm thinking not necessarily bottom. I have so many tactics to help you out. And the people that play tournaments with Genestealer Cult, they are not casual players. What I've been doing is focusing less on the deep strike aspect and focusing a lot more on actual Genestealers. Use Genestealers to block enemy movement. Use Genestealers to protect your lines. So if you have a screen of Genestealers, or you're able to charge the enemy in the first turn and tie them up in their own deployment zone, same to do with like an infiltrating unit of Aberrants or Acolytes, using that enhancement. Yeah, a Genestealer rush. All those 3 Genestealer players out there have good showing. Yeah, they're not, you know, the most representative ones. Because there's so few Genestealer Cult players out there, the ones that go to tournaments are the really good ones. If I was going to go to a tournament, I would take Genestealer Cult because people, I suppose, with the current meta, people are expecting lots of deep strike, but normally people are not expecting that. Thinking of using Genestealers in a Genestealer Cult army. I know, it's crazy times! Crazy times we live in. But yes. Yeah, people are aiming for anti-Hypercrypt and Overwatch stacking, so Battle Sisters with Flamer, Heavy Flamer, and Speed. That counters Genestealer Cult far more than the Necrons are going to be counted. Yes. Ooh, you just faced Drukhari, ran into them and Black Templars and got dumpstered. That means slammed in the bin. Yeah. Overwatch stacking is going to be a new thing with a new Drukhari detachment. Oh, yes. They're another very fast thing. Drukhari are coming up. Okay. I'm thinking Genestealer Cult will go there. Their current win rates are Genestealer Cult 47%. So I reckon we'll drop to a bit lower. But remember, casually will probably go right to the bottom. Although, no, casually because people won't be going counters to Hypercrypt Legion casually. So I think we'll be about there casually. And at tournaments, the good Genestealer Cult players will be able to keep us in that yellow band. Not get us right to the top, though. Oh, you took Genestealer Cult to tournaments, but you're not doing good so far. Oh, you can get better. That's another video I plan, I guess, for 2 weeks' time. It's going to be probably 2 hours long. I don't think there's a way to get it less than that. Really big Genestealer Cult thing. Yeah. Imagine getting tons of counters to Hypercrypt and every Necron player then goes with Comedic. I still think the Awakened Dynasty is good. You can make Necron Warriors really nicely hit, or the Immortals. Lots of stacking on the Immortals. That can work. I'll have to homebrew Genestealer Cult again. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. What do we think about Guard? Maybe we should skip to Guard. Okay. I can skip to Guard. So, the Imperial Guard got a bit of a change to the way the orders work. So if you're doing a Guard mechanized force, you're going to be getting a lot more. Well, you get more orders. That's the basic thing. You get more orders on your infantry. You can put out more shots and better shots because now you have infantry orders from coming out of Chimera. That's fine. If you played with lots of Manticores, and I wasn't seeing a lot of Manticores, then you can switch more to Basilisks. Basilisks and Mortar Squads are really good for Brood Brothers. Yes. Buff to Drukhari means they're going to get blended? Perhaps. We'll see how many people are taking anti-infantry stuff. A lot of people are thinking, we need to take down Angron, we need to take down Monoliths, we need to take down Greater Demons that just got cheaper, we need to take down the Knights. So I think we'll see a lot of anti-large more than anti-horde. Because horde armies like the Tyranids, they can do a pretty good horde army. They are not the strong meta. So having a horde army can be quite a, oops, surprise, you were not expecting this. Yeah. The Imperial Guard detachment as it is also likes artillery. I think the Guard will be about the same as they were before, but they have some new tactics to try. So I reckon they'll stay about the same place, a little bit low. Okay, any requests for which faction next? Guard do not get more out of the new rules. Oh, there's only one Chimera in the Mech Guard list. It opens up one new way to play, I think is the way of thinking it. And transports are pretty good. We want to do NIDs. Okay, we'll look at NIDs. If you could put a like on the video, please, because the like number is surprisingly low. Oh, no. Guard as a sleeper list is pretty good. Is it lots of tanks? It may be lots of tanks. Maybe. Okay. The Tyranids. I had some notes on Tyranids. Right. Yeah. You think the Tyranids will stay roughly the same. So the Tyranids were on 45%, which is not great. Even with all of their new detachments, the gargoyles were the staple of tournaments. In any detachment, you were seeing some gargoyles. So with the changes to the points on gargoyles, yeah, they get worse at tournaments, but casually, people will enjoy the new Screamer Killers. That can be pretty good. The good stuff got more expensive for the Tyranids. However, the non-emissaries went down, so yeah, I reckon they're going to be about the same. We may see more Termagants, more Hormagants. Hormagants can advance and charge, and they move like crazy fast. Like 10 inches is their basic move. So we may see them for getting like secondaries. Termagants being able to scuttle about and react to movement. I think we will see them, yeah, not particularly high. Tyranids, there. I don't think they'll be like so bad they're in trouble. I think Games Workshop will leave them roughly where they are and expect Tyranid players to just figure it out. They haven't got a good Crusher Stampede to focus on and use anymore like they did in 9th edition, which was pretty much all you saw at tournaments for Tyranids. Like 10 Carnifexes, or as many Carnifexes as you could have, because you could have multiple units of them, and there were variations of Carnifexes, like, oh, I've got this Forge World Crusher Carnifex with a big stone club instead of an arm. That's what they went for. Yeah. Do we not just use Spore Mines for secondaries? You can, yes. There was no change to Spore Mines for that, so having a Biovore just to throw Spore Mines around, that'll work for secondaries. Yeah, the Psychophage could probably use a points drop. When the number of attacks you get is D6 plus 1 in close combat, it's not the best, unless you're fighting something that's a Psyker. So unless you're against Thousand Suns or Grey Knights, no. Yeah, I wouldn't really include a Psychophage. Lots of the monsters are too expensive for the Crusher Stampede and the Harvester Swarm. Or whatever it's called, where they eat the stuff. Yes. Dobzords takes a Basilisk and Genestealer Cult. That's a good choice. I also like to take a Basilisk and Genestealer Cult. Yeah, debuff their movement. It stops them moving entirely. Oh, yeah, Hordes in Horus Heresy in 7th edition when there's still templates. Yeah. How's the Massive Infantry block doing for Imperial Guard? It is doing not as great as before, because it's a lot of people that can die. The Death Core of Krieg version is better, because you can get a marshal. I think it's called a marshal, which is basically a captain, a senior officer, who gives them a feel no pain, if I remember correctly. They're doing okay. The new problem is if they die while battle shocked, they don't come back. So that's where things like, oh, you've got assault terminators who charge in and they make you take a battle shock test. Incubi, same thing. Genestealer Cult Patriarch, which is now a bit cheaper, that does the same thing. So they're not doing as good. Thinking about just building a 1,500 points Genestealer list and then adding a Baneblade for larger games. That's a pretty good idea. I go with a Shadow Sword and a Cult Sentinel, a Scout Sentinel, for the reroll ones to hit. Yes, you're enjoying your restored Basilisk. I've seen it, Lisa. It looks really nice. You're doing really well with restoring it. You're not going to restore another one, though. It's definitely a time commitment for a slightly cheaper vehicle. Yeah. You can put a Deathcore Marshal into every squad. Nice. Like the points, they do lean on Spore Mines as a crutch. Yeah, so we'll probably still see a lot of Spore Mines. But if you want to, like, take the primary... No, just Spore Mines. Spore Mines, everything Spore Mines. Buy a Voz, throw out Spore Mines. Yeah. Score them in the shooting phase. I'm trying to think for secondaries. Do you declare that you're doing it in the middle of the shooting phase? Or do you declare you're doing it in the movement phase? Are Spore Mines infantry? They do have the infantry keyword, if I remember. Yes. Because they're not mounted or anything. I don't think beasts are a keyword anymore. It's something I could look up. I don't have it on quick reference, though. Primarchs Psycho is a decent combo. Yes, because the Imperial Guard then getting a 4+ invulnerable save. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Yeah. Ah, thank you, Valor and the Lost. You declare it in the shooting phase usually, so you can fire the Spore Mine, and then... Have I stopped tracking? No, I'm still there. Yeah, you can fire it in the shooting phase, and then you can still be around to do the actions. Oh, Beast is still a type. Nice. No, the Spore Mines have an objective control of 0, so you can't actually hold the objectives. That's the problem. But you can still do the secondary action stuff. Yeah, so we should be fine for that. Okay. Yeah. You can do a pretty good Imperial Guard Horde blob, yes. Thank you, Jethro. Spore Mine is a beast with an objective control of 0. Right, which faction do you want to do next? Audience choice. I had a vague order I wanted to do, but it doesn't really matter. Sisters, very good choice. Okay, we have Repentia that are cheaper now, and Repentia are very good. I still prefer Repentia to Arcoflagellants, even though when the points were the other way around, with them costing the same, I still prefer the Repentia. I think the reason that you can't add characters to Repentia isn't because the character would make the Repentia too good, it's because the Repentia would make the character too good. So imagine a preacher with full rerolls to hit and full rerolls to wound and getting +1 to wound, doing his once per game super murder. That would be able to make back more than their points worth. Like guaranteed. We don't say guaranteed, but basically guaranteed. So Repentia, very nice if we're seeing a lot of Necrons who have a really nice armor save, but only 1 wound. That works. Strength 6 with Repentia Blade, so that's similar to the Wraiths and the Destroyers. They have a toughness of 6. The Locust Destroyers I found are really nasty. Heavy Destroyers getting 12 shots? It's a lot of bullets coming your way. And at -1 AP, yeah, most of the time you're getting cover, so that'll be removed. But it's a lot of bullets. It can take down some people. And the Heavy Destroyers with the massive cannon, that takes out vehicles. System vehicles are a list that's really working. So your Castigators, your Exorcists, lots of Rhinos, Immolators, these are all good in Battle Sister lists. So if you look up my Mech Sister list, if you just type into the search bar on YouTube, Von Carmian, Mechanized Sisters, the video will come up, and it's a whole thing of, yeah, here's how to play Sisters. Arcos are still worth it as Sisters' best tar pit. You are absolutely right. Yeah. Should Games Workshop make it easier to generate miracle dice? I think they're pretty easy anyway. A lot of the units have the simulacrum, so every time you destroy a unit, you get a miracle dice. Whenever you die, you get a miracle dice. So if you have a lot of small units, that can work. That can work. Repent, the end is nigh. Yes. Ah. Yes, use Cyclops Demolition Vehicle as the guard and Genestealer Cult equivalent of Spore Mines. Yes, yes. Yes, the sisters probably now have it easier to generate their miracle dice than the Eldar do. Sisters just want to be Eldar? No, sisters are better than Eldar. Although the Aeldari now only get 6 fake dice to start the game, sisters can generate a lot more faster. Yeah. It's a good advance on them. Now think about the Triumph. The Triumph was changed so that you can't just filter 1 million miracle dice through the Triumph and throw them out. Instead, you're maxed at 2. But that's fine. If you have a multi-melter and a Dialogus and a Palatine in the squad, then you don't need to roll to hit because you're just changing a dice to 6 with the Dialogus, and that is getting lethal hits because... The other hand working? Yeah. Because the Palatine is giving them lethal hits, so you're going straight to take a save at minus AP4. And at that point, unless you have an invulnerable save, you're just taking d6 damage. Or if you're using a miracle dice on that, just 6 damage. Fancy loves some tier lists. They are an easy way to figure things out, yes. 30 Repentia, 30 Aquaflagellants, build the rest of the list to taste. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Guardian Defenders, I think Guardian Defenders will come up more in Aeldari lists, along with Farseers, because Farseers turn a dice to a 6, and if Guardian Defenders give you the dice, and they have the cannon, which one is it? The las cannon variant. What is a las cannon for an Eldar? Can't remember its name. Bright Lance. They have Bright Lances. Yes. So they automatically get to reroll a hit roll and a wound roll. Yeah. Funny ranks make brain happy, lol. Am I doing too many gang signs? I know it's a little bit uncanny valley. I do generally think I'll be using the other rigging. I guess we call it rigging, so that I can just have a face. Yeah, and that'll work. Then I'm not doing a video. It's like, oh, the hand tracking went off. Got to re-record a whole line. So most videos in future, I think, will not have the hand tracking. I do have a Discord. The Discord should be linked in the description. Yep, it is in the description. So you can join the Discord there. I'm just blood. Never mind gang signs blood. Yes. So I think... So you're thinking, what are we thinking for the sisters? Because I'm somewhere about 50%, maybe a bit more. Not sure. Not sure. I mean, I'm helping with sisters pretty well. Point at the camera to retain audience attention. Yeah. Oh, it's so strange. Oh, the fingers going everywhere. Yeah. Oh, yes. If you take Eldad Ulthuan, then you start with 9 fate dice. That's pretty good. Yes. Generate face dice with Guardians per objective. So it's much like how the sisters generate face dice, generate miracle dice with just their regular battle sisters. Yes. We like the salad fingers. Okay, we're thinking kind of mid for the battle sisters. Yeah, I'm thinking probably mid. We have got cheaper suits. The Paragon War suits are nice. Cat likes the fingies. The fingies are fun. Yeah. 50 to 55%. I think we'll go with mid. I think they'll end up more like 33%. Where were we? 51%. Yeah, if we go up, I think it'll be about 33%. So we know we're in the good area, but we're not too powerful to the point where people don't like to play us. So about there. I think that works. I'm not really doing like ranking in the middle of tiers, just about an area. Right, now I know other people were shouting out armies to do, was it Tau? Yes, Tau will do Tau next. Nundums can carry the sisters to wins. They may be able to. Again, miracle dice work on them. Again, the stratagems work, so you can get grenades on them. You can get the tank shock. That works. We'll do. Oh, we're still on Tau. Or however we're pronouncing H. Go with my heart. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Tau fairly strong. Don't think they're unpleasantly strong. Tau hard to predict because their codex is coming up. That is a very good point. Where did I write down Tau? Tau. Yes. Okay. So the Tau are going to get a codex in. Is it a month? About then. Let me just have a look at when all of the different armies were meant to be released. This video. That button. Not that one. Did have it somewhere. Ah, never mind. So yeah, they're going to get one soon because it's Dark Angels. Then Orcs are also getting one soon, and Tau are getting one, I think, even sooner. So April for Codex. Good to know. Good to know. You are live. Just had to paint some sisters. Excellent choice. Excellent choice. Yeah, Tau and Dark Angels are going to be. They'll change very quickly. You love the Kroot Empires. Yeah, looking forward to Kroot Detachment. If you already have a Kroot army, it's going to be nice. I hope that the Kroot Detachment is good and is suitable for more than just the Kroot. So you can have Tau as auxiliaries. That could be fun. Need to crack my hand things. It's making me sit up. This is terrible. I can't just slouch. I have to sit up so that the hands are actually tracked. Right, April for Codex. Good. Tau, you saw everyone. Oh, they can evaporate the different Alaris custodians and captain with a single crisis suit thing. And then rolled 0 bad hazardous tests. Very nice, very nice. Love me Tau, love me mechs, love me Kroot. Simple as. Building a castigator. You know, there's better tanks out there. There's better tanks. We're thinking they're going to be mid. Tau mid. Mid Tau. Okay, okay. So the crisis suits just went up in points. They're now 200 points for crisis suits. And they very much do need something to take out. So against infantry hordes, if they're going the plasma rifles, which is how all of the Tau are putting them at the moment, then it's not as worth it. The breaches work if you're doing like a mechanized Tau list. That can be very effective. The regular guys, not so much. We think mid. I was willing to put the Tau low, at least until I get a Codex. Because I was looking at like the Necrons. Their units have changed so much since the Index, compared to like any other faction. Battle Sisters didn't get, sorry, not Battle Sisters, Space Marines, they didn't get as much of a change. The Tyranids, they didn't get many changes. The AdMech for units, not a lot of changes. But the Necrons did get a lot of changes. And I think that's where the Tau could completely change. The Kroot should have a ton of infiltrate, scout, and stealth. Yeah, I mean, considering the number of different Kroot units we have, that's probably how it'll be. There's a scout Kroot unit, there's a stealth Kroot unit, an infiltrate Kroot unit. So it's going to be a new codex with Kroot. You forgot AdMech was a faction. The Ghost Keel is finally good. Yeah, the Ghost Keel has lone operative, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I know. The Warriors, unless you're going Awakened Dynasty, you don't want to take Warriors. Oh, I should not scratch the back of my neck. That's a thing I just learned. Hands do not like it when I do that. No. Tetchers will be strong, perhaps. Is there even an elite Kroot unit? There is the Kill Team Kroot unit. That one that came out. And it's got like a war bow and stuff. Yeah. Okay, give me an answer. Let's go with, if you type 1, I'll put them about mid. If you type 0, I'll put them low. I don't think anyone's saying, oh, the Tau will definitely be high for like the next couple of months. The come hither finger frightens. Okay, we'll go with mid. About mid. That works. Right. When the poll goes binary. Okay, if we're doing binary polls, then we've got to do AdMech next. So there was Adeptus Mechanicus peoples. Where did I leave the AdMech? This is what I get for not doing things in the order I wrote them in the notes. AdMech, yes. The AdMech are doing really badly. They were already doing badly the past month with their new Codex, even with the Stiltman, even when praising the Omnisire. Oh, thank you for saying you love my content. That's really nice of you. Yeah, 45%, well, lower than 45%. The Hunter cohort is quite good. It's like the Space Marine Raven Guard detachment, where it's very stealthy, but you need a lot of models. Like a lot of models. So, if you have that, then it works. Still blows a false prophet? Perhaps. Perhaps. 35% of tournaments, Games Workshop looks like a 50% faction. Yeah. Games Workshop meta is putting them at 46. I think that's going to go down because they're getting no changes, which they need. So, yeah, I think we're agreed that they're going right at the bottom. Now we're going to find their symbol. Is that an AdMech symbol? It looks kind of like an AdMech symbol. Yeah, that says Adeptus Mechanicus on it. Good. Yes, they might be okay into the meta. It's easy to attach Techno-Archaeologists to the Hunter cohort. Yeah. That's probably their most playable at tournaments detachment. You reckon they need detachment fixtures, not point fixes? The AdMech have just had not a good time in 10th edition, generally. Start of 9th edition, when they came out, were really good. Then they've just gone downhill since then. So if anyone bought an AdMech army for the 9th edition when they were great, sucks, I guess. Yeah. Spamming 60 wing boys, that can also work. That works in that detachment as well. So maybe they do need a detachment change. Sometimes you can think of the detachments as, this is just for fun. Like, oh, I play this detachment because I really like the way they go. I like Crusher Stampede because I have loads of giant monsters. Yeah. We messed up AdMech too much. Yeah. Well, the new points are expected to be in April, which I think is when we're getting new codexes, like we said. So yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the cheap AdMech army. Castellan robots and breaches. Okay. Yeah, that can work. Still paying for the crimes they committed before I started collecting them. Oh dear. And it's a worse combat patrol. Yeah. You're not getting your money's worth too much from them. Okay. I see a request for Chaos Space Marines. So let's look at, I guess, all of the Chaos factions. Right. Chaos Space Marines. I play Chaos Space Marines, so I know how they work. My way of playing was cultists, including accursed cultists, and chosen. That is the way I've been playing this army since 6th edition. It's really fun. It's my way of doing it. You still think they're going to be top tier? Maybe. They have a lot of ways to play. They're very versatile because they have a large number of units. So, oh yes, and of course they have one of the best, if not the best, army rule in the game. You are fighting hordes? Great. Everyone has sustained hits. You're fighting something massive like a knight? There's lethal hits on whatever you want. Yeah. I think it probably is that bad for AdMech. Yes. Nerfs are not harsh enough to Chaos Space Marines. I think they hit them in about the right place. Bro has hands. I do have the hands. I'm glad we're enjoying the hands. Yeah, because they nerfed one playstyle doesn't mean they destroyed others. Another playstyle will rise. At the start of the edition, when a lot of people were going, when I was going Chosen and Cultist, because I always go Chosen and Cultist, it's the fun way to play. Other people were saying, what about Terminators and Abaddon supported by a Hellbrute? So you can get both lethal hits and sustained hits at once. They got a nerf bat? You're not seeing the nerf bat? Well, yeah, so there was definitely quite a few changes. They got hit pretty hard, considering they were, in some tournaments, yes, they were coming out as number 1. They can take down knights, they can take down hordes. I think it's going to take maybe a month for people to figure out how to play them again. And the Nurglings are still good as allies to do different things. Yes, there were also point hikes as well as rules changes, and we're not getting as many accursed cultists back as before. Chaos Space Marine still has Tzeentch Chaos Spawn and things that are impossible to kill. Yeah. They're not expected to get a Codex anytime soon. I don't think they need one. I think they're doing very nicely as it is. So, yeah, they did hit the Nurglings a little bit with points. Generally, I think they're fine. No one allowed to get near Eldar win rates and be untouched. Oh, perhaps. Perhaps. That might just be how it is. Can I make that a bit smaller? Yes, now I can see myself and the chat. Good. So, oh, they expected summer this year? Ah, I can't remember. I'm going to actually look at it because we keep talking about when these codexes are coming out. And I know I have the picture because I saved the picture so I can use it in different videos. It's not where I thought I saved it. That's a shame. Hate it when I do that. If I type, it shouldn't mess up the rigging. Ah, there we are. Codex roadmap to summer. Oh, yes. So we're going to get Chaos Space Marines before we get Adeptus Sororitas. So they are expected in springtime. All Codex is meant to be coming out soon. I haven't seen much of like oh yeah, we're going to get to play as Gretchen. There's been no announcement of, oh, get your Gretchen detachment, everyone. We all want the Gretchen detachment. Redacted Codex is Space Skaven. Yeah. I mean, everyone's hoping the Redacted Codex is Emperor's Children. Ten Chaos Terminators and Termilord is really powerful. 10 Chaos Terminators and Abaddon is also pretty powerful. It's a lot of combat weapons. Oh, yeah. Yeah, reroll to wound on combi weapons. If you're undivided, that's pretty good. Rerolling hit rolls of 1 and all wound rolls. And with sustained hits, that's what you want. Wow, yeah. Fulgrim got his model in Heresy. Codex Grots. You already play Imperial Guard and Orcs? You're looking for a third army? Well, maybe just stop with 2. After doing a video on being addicted to Warhammer, maybe 2 is just enough. Enough was nice. Yes, the Genestealer Cult are the Space Skaven. They come from underground. They are a horde. Accidents happen. They're a tragic kind of race, but also kind of funny. Yeah, the Genestealer Cult are the Space Skaven. I do have a video which is like a quiz thing you can do. It's on my channel. If you just go to my channel, the very first video that auto plays is the video of here's the next army you should pick kind of quiz. So you could do it like that. I think that's the best way to figure out which army you want. To decide if you want to do something that isn't a horde. Space Marines are easy to build. I found that recently. Space Marines are just one of the easiest factions to just stick some arms together. Whatever you want, it works. Accidents happen, a politician's description of Genestealer Cult. Yeah. Custodes, they're a pretty cheap one. You can get quite a few Custodes in there. Does it count as 1 if you have... I mean, it could count as 3 if you have Eldar, Andrukari, and Ynnari. It's a different playstyle. I think we might actually be at Primarch fatigue. There's less and less people caring. Other than, oh, I got my Primarch. I don't think many people are that bothered. I know that there's not a lot of Blood Angels players being like, when's my Primarch coming back? Yeah. Okay, I'm ready to declare where we're putting the Chaos Marines. So, if we think they're mid, then go for 0. If we think they're going to be in the yellow up, then go for 1. I don't think they're going to end up at the very top, though. Eventually have a Chaos Knights. You reckon top? I think we'll put them quite high. Yeah, they're versatile enough that they'll be able to adapt. That's World Eaters, Thousand Suns. Chaos Space Marines. We'll put them up there. it's been a pretty empty slot, so they'll still do well. Will they need more nerfs? Maybe. Maybe we'll get more nerfs to the Chaos Space Marines in April. But then they're going to get a Codex soon after that, so maybe Games Workshop will just be like, I do not care. Waiting for a Tau Primarch. Well, we have... What have you got? You've got all of those people who are somehow immortal and just will not die, but they keep going to sleep and then coming out to fight. It's odd, yeah. Yeah, Sanguinius probably isn't coming back. Neither is the Iron Hands. Their Primarch is not back. Aunvar is totally alive. Which one's Aunvar? Oh, yes, the Tau leader, Aunvar. Yeah, totally alive. That was a good way of them to just retire a character model. Oh, I wish I was immortal. Immortal, it sounds fun, being immortal. Could be fun, yes. You got Farsight, who is like a Horus. He has a weird sword. It's definitely not a demon sword. I would say he's more like a Baden with Dracnir. Endless Primarch would be good. You don't need to be good at painting faces. Oh, witty. Chat is being very witty today. Right, what do we want as the next faction? Oh, we'll stick with Chaos kind of stuff. So let's talk about World Eaters. I know we have just so many World Eaters players who are so very happy with how things have gone. Because there was really one playstyle. Well, one competitive playstyle. Which was to have a lot of 8-bound, and that is now harder to do and more expensive. So that sucks for them. Oh, and you also have Angron, who is now less likely to come back because one of their enhancements, well, a couple of their enhancements, got fixed. Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't want to be immortal in 40k. Bad things happen to the immortal characters. Yeah, the army is still, competitively, 8-bound with Big Angry Man. So, I didn't know they had more than one way to get to 1,000 points. Well, the other way was a sort of casual meme thing, which was really fun. You take a Demon Prince with an enhancement. I think it was an enhancement. It might have just been their rule. And then you have an army of all Jackals. Just max out on the number of Jackals, and they all got a 4+ invulnerable save. They've changed it now to be a 5+ invulnerable save, and there was a points increase. So that's not the best. Yeah, the World Eaters designed around one playstyle. It's not that creative. You definitely can see it coming. Yeah, the changes focused on the gimmick list like the 4+ invulnerable save Jackals that the Imperial Guard players were just complaining about. But toughness 3 with otherwise no save, they go down pretty quickly. 3 Lords of Skulls meta? You could try it. You could absolutely try it. Big Angry Man being stopped by 2 Brave Crusaders, suffering and sacrificing? Yes. Blicky Bicky understands the tactics. That's right. That's how the Battle Sisters beat Angron. World Eaters suffer the same problems Tau do, but with melee. Yeah, the World Eaters need more units, more options. Yeah, there was some pointless nerfs happened then. Bloodthirster could do Bloodthirster, but then you've also got to take some Bloodletters now. So even the demon stuff, I don't think it was meant to hurt the World Eaters, but it's hurt the World Eaters. So, yeah, they should have their own Terminators. What are the Terminators called? They have their own special name. I know because in 9th edition they had enhancement, well, a stratagem that you paid for at the start of the game, and then that gave you, for the rest of the game, they were just better and could fight twice. They were Berserker Terminators. Red Butchers, that's them. Yeah. Terminators are still super expensive. Imagine if World Eaters didn't lose everything they just had. So they're still going to play with 8-bound, still going to play with Angron, but they're not as good. If the World Eaters go first and pin you in your deployment zone, they often win on objectives because the Jackals come afterwards and score the primary and secondary things while you're just pinned back. Unless you have a unit that can scout and screen out, like the Battle Sister Dominions, that works. That stops the World Eaters. If they go second and you have something to pin them in their deployment zone, like lots of Genestealers, then they just lose. Now, Games Workshop didn't put a meta number for the World Eaters, so in theory we don't know what Games Workshop thinks they are. Goonhammer had them at 50%. But Yeah, they could do the Juggernaut Lord. That's an option. Master of Executioner with enhancement is probably going to get cut. They were very powerful as just a special thing to go for. Probably 8% victory. Maybe let's go with 38%. I think they'll get to 38%. Is anyone going to fight me on them being at the bottom? Or are we going to be accepting that they are a bottom tier? You think they can get up to like 44%? I'm not seeing anyone arguing otherwise. So we'll go with them right at the bottom. I would put them there. I don't think they have enough to not compensate. Mid-low, 30%? Depends on the overall meta. Yeah. And it's a problem when your army and how well they do depends on every other faction. Yes, live with hands. I know, I've been doing... When was our last live? I was live like 9 days ago. I've been doing several live things. Corn needs to try some guns, shotguns. The mid if they go first, the low if going second, perhaps. And the Lion in the lore did beat Angron, but we knew that was going to happen because as soon as you have someone that's immortal, they're going to just die and come back compared to the hero character that doesn't come back. You think the World Eaters have more going for them than Guard? They don't have a lot of choices. You're usually a VODA. Yeah, I'm trying like streaming at different times, so not just, hey, it's 7 p.m. UK time. Let's do an afternoon one. And I'll try doing a morning stream UK time at some point. They're a power bottom. I think they'll do better than the AdMech. So even though they're down here at the bottom, they'll probably do better than AdMech. Yeah, same for Thousand Suns. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, I'm leaving them there. I'm happy with them there. So if we're thinking of the small factions, Votann. Leagues of Votann also have very few units. They got a minor points increase on their little Sagittar transports, but they have grudge tokens to take down things like monoliths. And they have... What else have they got? Oh yeah, they can just do land fortresses. That's an option. They have a lot of valid builds. They're... What are their Terminator fellows called? They're not Terminators, but they're basically Terminators. You reckon the Votann will stay about the same? They were coming in on Leagues of Votann for 54%. Hearthguard, that's the ones. Hearthguard are the Terminator things. Mid to high, I think we're looking at, yeah, up to 55%, about the same as where they were. They definitely make Knights cry, so if there's a lot more Knights turning up, because Knights and Chaos Knights got a bit better, more likely to turn up at tournaments, they are indeed, yeah. Grimmers turn the battle line units up to toughness 6 and looking respectful. I don't know, I'll have to check out Leagues of Votann things. I haven't played against Leagues of Votann in the last couple of months. Strong mid-range, strong short-range, only limited mobility. They are indeed very slow unless you take a lot of the bikes that they have. Still crying after the bondman abilities on Knights? Yeah. They do look like the Kinder Egg Exo arms. You could use lots of different models as the Votann. Okay, we're going quite high with Leagues of Votann. There's the Leagues of Votann. We're putting them up there with Chaos Space Marines. When they got the changes to the grudge tokens in, was it September? Yes, that was the last time we had a balanced data sheet. So that would be when they got really good. And they stayed there. I think the only time I played them was just before... Oh yeah, definitely about that time. Yeah. So I haven't played them more recently. Not since Christmas anyway. Issues with Imperial Knights? Just turn to Chaos. Sagittars and the bikes are the fastest stuff. That's why the Sagittars went up. Also, the Sagittars let them split so you get more models out of your regular Hearth kin. Yes. Okay. Death Guard. We said Death Guard. Right. For the Death Guard, the Nurglings are still valid. The change to the Chaos Demons as allies meant that you have to have a battle line unit if you're going to take an extra thing as well. So Nurglings, they are battle line. So there's been no change to how your Death Guard can take Nurglings as well. Death Guard are pretty good. Death Guard can still stack stuff. They can put out a lot of indirect fire with the Plague Burst Crawlers, and I think it's the Lord of Contagion. It's a guy with... He's in Terminator armor, he has a flamer thing. He lets you ignore all modifiers, including stuff like... Oh yeah, you're firing directly. So they can still do a lot of indirect fire. Just like the Guard can do it as well. Yeah, the new super rule is quite good. I think it's thematic as well. It's not just I'll have some blue scribes, some Nurglings, and a Bloodthirster. It's now more thematic and suits the army. I like it when the armies work. I think 10th edition, maybe the end of 9th edition? No, probably 10th edition is the first time that Space Marines have felt like Space Marines, because they all have the 2 wounds. And that's what I like. The armies to feel like themselves. Plague Burst went up by 15 points. They did. Yes, the Lord of Lord of Virulence rather than Lord of Contagion. Got it. Got it. Yes, he boosts the blast weapons. Morty negates the modifiers. Okay. Good. I played against it. I checked the datasheets because it did seem too powerful. And what was I using? It was, I think I was using Deathwatch. It was one of the times using Deathwatch. So it was not the best for me, but it was still a fight to the end. Ah, the Lord of Contagion is the melee lord. Right. I see. See, this is where my knowledge of Death Guard is not as high as other people's. So I normally don't talk about the Death Guard much. I'm thinking that they're not really nerfed much. They still have the benefits of allies, so will they just stay where they are? Are we happy with them being a mid-level? They were on 50% exactly. Maybe that's where we'll stay. Ooh, you think it'll go up 55%? Tends. I mean, 2,000 pointers tend to be what tournaments are. Yeah. Bitfire, okay. Let's go with, put a 0 if you think in the blue about 50%, a 1 if you think they'll go up to closer to 55%. A lot of stuff did get nerfed from other factions and the Death Guard didn't, and they still have all of their nasty plagues that will help them beat things like Custodes. Yeah, Death Guard not changing means they're stronger. Okay, I'll agree with that. Death Guard symbol. They're in the Chaos. Death Guard. There we go. So they're going up there with the other Chaos Space Marines. Right. So Thousand Suns. We talked about the idea of an all Zangors army. Are Zangors going to get better for objectives now that the Demonic Pacts will require you to take some regular horrors? Perhaps. Perhaps we'll see more Zangors. If people have got the big box that comes with Zangors, suddenly Zangors, too many Zangors, oh yes, your army is now all Zangors. Maybe. Oh yeah, the regular Plague Marines went up for them. Yes, they did go up for the Death Guard. They still get taken. Regular Plague Marines do still get taken because they're tough. They're not as tough as they were in like 9th edition with the Feel No, or 8th edition with the Feel No Pain, or 9th edition with the -1 damage. Yeah. That's a good question. Do we have any Thousand Suns players here? And then second question, do we have any Thousand Suns players that take lots of Zangors? 1,000 Zangors of Prospero. See, I have not played against Thousand Suns in this edition at all. And the only person I've seen play them is Paul, who is bad at stuff, and he is notoriously bad at stuff. So how he's performing on the tabletop isn't going to be indicative of how tournaments are running. And we're looking more at the tournament meta today rather than the casual meta. I was thinking we needed even bigger Zangors, but that is a lot of change. Oh yeah, in Age of Sigmar, there is also the Minotaur-looking guy with a shield and a staff. Or you can give him a shield. He's got a staff. Can't remember what he's called. The Zerg. It's a guy. Yeah, it's there in Age of Sigmar. Yes. Mess with them a bit on Tabletop Simulator like Zangors. We're not running them more than ever. At one point when they came out, about 7th edition, they were basically orcs for the price of orcs. So being able to go, not with cultists, but hey, we have better than Imperial Guard, we can just throw orcs around. That was a good one. He may be very bad at stuff, but he's also very Paul. Yep. You like the Rubik Marines? You like the Scarabs? Yes, the Scarab Cult Terminators. That's the abbreviated name. Definitely better than cultists. I did want to do like a comparison of all the Chaos Factions cultists, but I can't see it having a big audience, at least for me. They're scouting cultists. No, the Death Guard have scouting cultists. The Thousand Sons give you Cabal points, I think. Huh. Not sure. Yeah, one set to hold the objective. Right. Hold the home objective and probably nothing else. Okay, so we're not going to see a whole new Zangor meta coming out. Good to know. Good to know. Bozangors. Bozangors can work. I've put them as mid ? Let the chat decide. They were at 51%. So let's go with an answer. Are we going mid blue? Are we going high yellow? Are we going low yellow? Low mid? Low mid? Are horrors any good with the spitting thing? Horrors can be a pain to have to shoot through if you've got a lot of bullets. Yeah, you need a lot of bullets to get through them, a lot of attacks. Horrors are good at holding objectives. But they're going to hover. They're going to suffer. Okay. From what the chat is looking like, we're varying either side of the yellow. So I'm going to stick them about middle, because 51% is where they're at the moment. And that sounds about right. That sounds fine. So let's talk about the Chaos Demons. Something you have to remember is the change to the Chaos Demon Pact rule doesn't affect the Chaos Demon players that are doing straight Chaos Demons. So they don't need to have a battle line unit for every other thing they take in the detachment. So there's no need to have pink horrors to get a lot of change. You can just have a lot of change by itself. So they are the ones that can pick the best of their own faction. It's pretty good. So that doesn't affect them all. You can go all Horde monsters. You can go all Horde. You can go for all of the Greater Demon monsters. Both of these are totally valid ways to play. So yes, you can still have a full Greater Demon army. Yeah. That's the thing, because a lot of people were thinking of, oh yeah, the demons, this is a change to the rule. So that's an important thing. As long as everyone knows that. Can I do like elaborate hand signs? I don't know. What's it going to track? Yeah, I can do kind of the demon symbol. That works, that works. So yes, that is a reason to do it. Big monster mash, soup list, whatever you want. I'm expecting that when their codex comes out, and we have no expectations of when that's going to be, we'll have 5 detachments. One is the current one that's generic, all the demons. In theory, meant to be led by Shadow... What is Shadow Man's name? I can't remember him. I just think of him as in Warhammer Fantasy as the guy that didn't get to be the Ever-Chosen. Be'lakor, thank you. Yes, so Be'lakor, there's that detachment, and then there's going to be 4 others. One for, yeah, we're playing with bonuses to Khorne Demons, we're playing with bonuses to Slaanesh, playing with bonuses to Nurgle, and then playing with bonuses to Tzeentch. That'll be how their codex ends up. Cool. I feel... Okay, if I put my hands together, it doesn't actually mesh my hands. That is strange. Never mind. Just puts them too far apart. Okay. Normal hands. This is how normal hands are. Yeah. So Chaos Demons are probably going up from where they were. They were on 46%, which would be in... We put them in the lower yellow. That's where they were. Yeah, that's where they were. I think they may go up to mid. They got a lot more points drops on, I think it was like everything. Let's have a look. I've got it here. Chaos Demons. That is under C for Chaos. Yeah, Bloodletters went down. Great Unclean One went down. Blood Crushers went down. The Seekers went down. The Seeker Chariot. Scarbrand. The Change Caster. Don't know what one of them is. I guess it's a Tzeentch thing, I assume. Demonettes are down. Epidermis is down. Plague Bearers are down. They have a lot of point drops. Yeah. Nurgle Horde Demons is surprisingly annoying to deal with. Reckon Guard not going up much. Good, good. Have we done... Oh, yes, we've done Guard. Yeah, yeah. You can run Be'lakor with Princes, and that was only in 9th edition. Demons got a lot. You think the data sheets that did get the points drop are kind of rubbish? Maybe. And there's another thing, because they are a deep strike faction, sort of. Anything that's going to counter deep striking, like flamers or stuff that's designed to stop the Hypercrypt Legion, that can stop them. Any counters for the monolith that's dropping in 3 inches away will stop a greater demon dropping in 3 inches away. That is one of the stratagems that they have. But the demons also have a really nice advance and charge, and pretty much all of their units are close combat focused. So Plague Bearer is nice, sticky objectives, bounce them up with strats. Oh, you can't buy a Lucius model. Oh dear. Oh, that sucks. Wouldn't be surprised if there was 6 detachments. The soup one without Be'lakor, and then one for actually having Be'lakor. Maybe. I'm pretty sure Be'lakor is meant to be like the soupy one. Yeah, I mean, converting and kit bashing characters is the way to go. It's what I do with most of my characters. If you go into Games Workshop and like, oh, here, have a free Space Marine, I'm like, I think you mean have a free apothecary. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, not many things. Oh yeah, you can just scratch up a bald head and there you go. Do they still have... I don't think they still sell... There was like a mutant upgrade sprue, and that came with a head that was very much Slaaneshi, had a tongue sticking out, and then you could just scratch up that. Yeah. Blue Horrors are finals infiltrators as the objective control check has changed. Ah, yes, yes. Because you can now see if you control something at the start of, at the end of the turn, not just at the end of a phase. If I kind of remember that correctly. Yes, I think you mean have a free apothecary. Wait, no, that's illegal. I'll do what I want. And as long as it's obvious, you know, the colour of it. If you paint it blue, it's a librarian. If you paint it white, it's an apothecary. There you go. If you give him a fancy hat, it's a captain. That's how it works. Right, I'm willing to put the Chaos Demons on mid. Are we wanting to prefer lower mid? Let's go with 0 if we're putting them about 50%, or -1 if we're going to go a bit lower and keep them where they are. You made a Prince Uriel from Ranger Bits and an Autarch. Good choice. The Corsairs one is a pretty good choice as well. Putting them about mid. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's a pretty conclusive one. Chaos Demons. There they go in the middle. Right, we'll do the Chaos Knights. That's another Chaos faction. Do we have Alex in the chat? Because Alex is a big Chaos Knights player and has some really nice Chaos Knights. Those are nice models that have been shown off in the Discord. What are we thinking Chaos Knights? Okay, so they still have Nurglings for secondaries, because Nurglings are still a battle line unit, and the Chaos Knights need something to perform actions like the secondary objectives more than any other faction of the Chaos. So they still have the Nurglings as an option. They still have the War Dogs. War Dogs, and a lot of War Dogs. War Dogs are still very tough. And they got points drops on the bigger Knights, if I recall. Chaos Knights, yeah, we're seeing points drops on the bigger Knights. So we may be seeing more of them. John Smith, thank you for the US dollars. That's very nice of you. Can I put a heart on that? Oh, that's a thing. Um. Ooh, yeah. Okay. There we go. Have free memberships. There we go. Yeah. So all of those people that are interacting all the time and clicking buttons and things, you've got a free membership to my channel. How about that? I'm glad that you gave me the money. Thank you very much again for the money. That reminded me that I can give you some stuff as well. Wow. Those went quick. No problem. No problem. Ah. Are we hearing the audio stuff? Oh, yes, there it is. It's popping up. Yeah. Welcome to the Legion. So yes, now that you're in the Legion, you have access to the little emotes like the laughing emote and the angry emote. We mostly seem to use the laughing emote. Yeah, all of the emotes. So we can see them in the chat a lot more. I like how it's enunciating these properly. Very good. Oh, wow. £3.96. I thought that a US dollar was worth less than that. Very good. Very good. Thank you very much for the money. Emojis. Yeah. So it's not as bad as Monopoly money. US dollars, very useful. Thank you very much. Okay, Chaos Knights. Talk about the Chaos Knights. So, oh, that's the thing. Next time I'll do a live stream, remind me to just buy you guys more memberships. I like seeing the emotes in chat. Yes, Knights of all types are a stat check army. They are indeed. So either you beat them or you don't. And if people are sensible and thinking, aha, Hypercrypt Legion, we're going to see lots of monoliths, then they'll think, I need something that can take down the Chaos Knights. And if they see that Chaos Knights are cheaper and Imperial Knights are cheaper, then yeah, they'll get a bit of a stat check. When I played against them, it was a lot of War Dogs. I was able to blow them up with demo charges and hitting them with aberrants and things. Yeah, Sisters are not a stat check army anymore. Not at all. Chaos Knights still need changes. The army rule, when they get more detachments, I don't know how many more detachments they'll get. What other ways of playing Chaos Knights were there? And they still get the, oh yes, we cause fear. You're going to be scared and run away and stuff. So that is more valuable, because now we know that you can't use stratagems if you died while battle shocked. So things like the Necrons in the Awakened Dynasty coming back with their characters, the Battle Sisters in the Hallowed Martyrs detachment coming back, they won't be able to. Things like the Imperial Guard and their regiments. Their whole, oh yeah, we're going to get a whole nother unit back. Can't do that if you're battle shocked. I wonder if the Chaos Knights will get 4 or 5 detachments. They can pledge to a go. Okay, yeah, I suppose. How many house detachments were there in 9th edition though? Because they don't have like Marks of Chaos. That's the thing, yeah. Knights get obliterated in melee. Are the Chaos ones better at melee? It depends on the knight you take. They're not that good in melee. Army rule is bad, and Neurolictor does your army rule but better. And remember, the Tyranids still have the Shadow and the Warp. And if they take the... Who is that? Neuro Tyrant. The new Neuro Tyrant. Then it's just battle-wide... Army-wide... No. Yeah. Battlefield-wide Battle Shock at -1 leadership. Yeah. Battle Shock doesn't matter too much. I mean, yes, you kind of agree. They lost a lot of character without the configurable marks. Probably. War Dogs have the claws. War Dogs are still okay. I haven't been too bad with War Dogs. If it was really big Chaos Knights, maybe. Yeah, the stratagems make or break the Imperial Guard very much. Objective control is important, but just having a big knight on the objectives is usually enough to swing it anyway. Okay. So we definitely have opinions on the Chaos Knights. Good. The reason the Guard come back if they're battle shocked is because, as reinforcements, they saw what was happening and tried to desert and got shot by the Commissar. Yep, that's probably how it was. Yeah, having models run away. I mean, is it one of the versions of the... Oh, it's Chaos Demons. You can make people run away with Chaos Demons. Yeah. Ah, the Knight Tyrant has Deep Strike now for meta purposes. Good to know, good to know. Interesting. Okay, where were they before? Their number, according to Games Workshop, for Chaos Knights... Chaos Demons... Chaos Knights was 52%. They were in the upper mid. Maybe we'll stick them about mid now? Again, we'll go with like, put a 0 if you think, okay, they're going to be about 50%. Put a 1 if they think they're going to be higher up. Go with mid, 52% mid. Stay the same. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. Chaos Knights, right in the middle. That works for me. So, since they're very similar factions, since at one point in 8th edition, they were just the same models. Was it 7th edition? 6th edition, no, 5th edition? I can't remember when Imperial Knights were introduced, if it was 5th edition or 6th edition. Not sure. But then when Chaos Knights were introduced, it was just, use these models, but add spikes. Then the Chaos Knights have more recently got their own thing, which I think was only in 8th edition that they came out. Yeah. Just started playing 40k and chose Genestealer Cult and Sisters because they look cool. I was surprised when I got recommended your videos. Someone who talks about Sisters and Genestealer Cult a lot. Thank you very much, Shovel. And I plan to do, this coming week, just a week of Battle Sisters. So, 3? We'll go with 3. Maybe I can push for 4 Battle Sister videos. Just entirely about them. Yeah. Dark Angels do laugh at Battleshock. One of the Dark Angel detachments. Because Dark Angels have 3 detachments. That's what's making me think that the Chaos Knights will only get 3 detachments as well. And he's not playing. Because they're like a sub-faction, a small faction in themselves. Yeah. Yeah, if the Battleshock didn't auto-heal, maybe. If you had to like pass the leadership test to get back your leadership. But yes, I know Dark Angels are a supplement, but I feel that Chaos Knights are essentially a supplement. Because they have a whole rule of, yeah, we can be taken as allies. I don't know if anyone's still considering in like Chaos Space Marine lists, taking a Chaos Knight as an ally. Generally, you pick your allies to be the really cheap stuff to do the secondary actions. Stuff like that. Okay, the Imperial Knights. Yes, they're towering units, so they were really amazing at the start of the edition and have slowly fallen down the table since then. Imperial Knights are on 45%, which is 7% lower than the Chaos Knights, which is kind of surprising. Ah, the Knights came out in 7th edition. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe fix the indirect fire rules. Probably. They did do some fixes already to it, like you can't overwatch and do indirect fire. Because that was quite powerful for something like a Basilisk. Oh, you moved, now blam. There we go. You are now -2 to your advance on charge rolls. Yeah. I like picking 2 armages with Custodes, because they're better than the Dreadnought. A lot of people, when the armages came out, including myself, was like, I'm going to try running Chaos War Dog armagers instead of doing Chaos Dreadnoughts. I still like my Chaos Dreadnoughts, my Hell Brutes, but with the way the rules are now, they don't feel like Chaos Dreadnoughts. I'm used to them being 3rd edition, where it's like, if you put your Chaos Dreadnought near to your army, it will shoot your own army. Put it way at the side. Instead, what we're doing is we're putting it in the middle of the army, and I'm going, this is wrong. This is so wrong. I do not like this at all. Yes, Battle Sister week to look forward to. Imperial Knights are 35 in other tournaments. Yeah, Games Workshop may be cooking the books. So why are the Imperial Knights so much lower than the Chaos Knights? I don't think I've played against Imperial Knights. No, I've always been playing against Chaos Knights. So I don't know why there's such a difference between Imperial Knights and the Chaos Knights when they're fundamentally the same thing. No allies. Even though you've got your Imperial agents. Maybe. I still use the old Metal Dreadnought random task. Yeah, it's a really good model. I like it. They're forced to run the big knights since they're the only characters. Right, I see, I see. Ah, yeah, fixing the indirect fire to always require an allied unit to spot. That could work. That could work. The armigers are weaker than the war dogs. Okay. See, I was thinking, yeah, the knights have not got much better, but a lot of the things that can take out knights have gotten worse. So, Eldar Wraithguard, they're more expensive and much worse. Chaos Marines with the more expensive units, well, their units cost more. That may mean that when you've got not as many units causing lethal hits, then the Imperial Knights can last a bit longer. But yeah, the Bondsman ability got hit so hard. But you're still getting more rerolls, so... Yeah. Big Knights are the worst part, so that's why the win rates of Chaos Knights are right. Yeah, it's the War Dogs are good. That's why you see War Dogs in the Chaos Knights faction, but you don't see a lot of armigers just being taken for the Imperial Knights. Okay, I understand. The War Dogs are good rather than anything else. Right. So, are we then expecting that there's going to be very little change? Because the Imperial Knights were running at 45%, so that would put them in the lower mid. I'm probably going to go about the same place then. Are we happy with them being at the -1 level? Down here in the yellow? Oh, do you reckon they'll go right to the very bottom though? I don't know if they will. Not sure on them just slamming into the 44, like 42%. It depends how many armies are able to take them on. We're going straight bottom. Well, I'll compromise. It's my tier list, so I get to decide where they go. Imperial Knights, I'll put them there. I think they'll probably get... Yeah, from what you're saying, from you guys actually having played with them or against them, they may end up... 45% is... Even if they stay at 45%, that's where they are. Not AdMech or as bad. The best things at killing them quickly have gotten their damage reduced. Okay. This is where I think we need to talk about Eldar, because fire prisms are going to be back in fashion for the Eldar. Yeah, they had a points increase, but they were absurdly low points at the start of the edition. Now they're back to a decent level of points, like an appropriate level, but they're still going to go there. Yeah, you know feelings on the Knights, but you think they're a faction that should be squatted? They're a very odd faction in the first place, and Games Workshop struggled, especially at the start of this edition, to get rid of, you know... Well, they struggled to do anything with the towering rule. And it was like, too good, then not good enough, or something like that. You can shoot them from anywhere. So the Drukhari just got lots more raiders. That's a lot more Dark Lancers. Yeah. Okay, we'll see what ends up with them. There's not enough people saying slam the Imperial Knights to the bottom, so we'll leave them at probably 45%. One of the worst of that band. Yeah. You're so happy with the Eldar now because the Harlequin army is pretty unscathed. You have got fewer fate dice though. That's a problem. Yes. Ah, yes. Couldn't you, as an Imperial army, take an Inquisitor and just have an Inquisitor as your leader? And then have all armigers beyond that? But then you have the Bondsman ability, which is one of the key things which you only get from the big knights. Yeah. Okay, we'll stick with that. You were so scared they'd do something even bigger. Well, the Eldar, yes, they had to change the fate dice. They had to change the Night Spinners. They had to change to the Yin Khan. Quite a few things. And the fate dice, of course, yeah. So the problem that Eldar have with trying to nerf them is the same as the Chaos Space Marines. The Eldar can adapt. So the Eldar What were they at the start of the edition? Oh, Wraith Knights, because towering was good, and Fire Prisms, because they were cheap. As they changed, they've gone to Night Spinners, and the Yin Khan, if that's been nerfed again, so it's not teleporting in your opponent's turn. I think that's how it works now. Or it only teleports once. I've never played against the Yin Khan. I was lucky like that. But now they'll see more Fire Prisms again, and the Avatar of Cain. The Eldar may be Games Workshop's favourite army. I think Space Marines are their favourite army because they sell so many Space Marine models. So that's probably what it's going to be. Right, it's not on your opponent's turn if you remember correctly. Good, good, good. Games Workshop chasing around the Eldar player base trying to nerf everything. Yeah. Well, the Eldar can adapt if you're playing just straight Eldar. Think about now Ynnari, because a lot of points drops have happened to the Dark Eldar, the Drukhari. So we're seeing a lot of cheap Dark Lancers, and the Eldar detachment likes the Dark Lancers. In the Ynnari list, the Dark Eldar do get the benefits of the detachment rule, the unparalleled foresight, so they're rerolling a hit roll and rerolling a wound roll. That is something that the Dark Lancers like. Fire Dragons in a Falcon with Fuegan? That's a good option. You can also run, according to Proxy Hammer, run Fuegan by himself, just to shoot and blow up something else and charge it and then resurrect. That can work. I'm thinking the Ynnari are going to become very strong. I haven't got Ynnari as a separate thing, but I think they'll be in roughly the same place as the Aeldar anyway. Right. Games Workshop loves Space Marines, but the balance department right now is run by John Grammaticus. 8th edition was really bad. Space Marines in 8th edition were not fun. Yeah. Yes, there we go. There's the tactic. From IJ Holder 89. You use Cabalites, because you put Cabalites in the Ynnari. Not only are you getting cheap Lancers, you put the Cabalite Warriors in a Venom, they also work in a Raider, and then you use the Blade Storm stratagem. So that gives you -2 AP on a critical hit. Oh yeah, when Ynnari was a bad in 8th edition. Oh yes. They were fun, but not fun to play against. I used them once. As yeah, this is fun. I promise not to do it again. Because having every unit being like, I killed a thing, I get to shoot more, that was too powerful. Yes. Your turn became their turn as well. Or their turn became your turn. Yeah. For the Ynnari player. More turns, basically. Yes, so, yes, the Blade Stormer and the Cabalites. So if it's a regular thing, you're thinking, oh yes, this is for the Shuriken weapons, but unlike with the Death Guard, it's not happening on just a specific kind of weapon. It's everything now. So all of them are getting -2 AP as long as you get that critical wound. Normally that's a 6, but if you have poison, which you do on all the Cabalite Splinter weapons, on the Venom Splinter cannons, then you're going to get -2 AP from all of them. It's a lot. So I was thinking, yes, it does work in a Venom with 2 Splinter Cannons. That's a good way to do it. Or you can have it in a Raider, then you get more guys inside doing the actual shooting. Yes. Do we think the Harlequins will get their own detachment? I think they probably will. I think the Aeldari will become one that gets 7 detachments because we know Games Workshop likes them, and the Space Marines got 7 detachments. Don't think that, but they don't seem to like Ynnari that much, so I think there won't be a Ynnari specialist detachment. It'll just be you need Yvrain, maybe, or the Yin Khan, but they seem to be sticking with buy our Yvrain models. We would like to sell you our Yvrain models, and then they'll have 1 detachment for each of the Craft Worlds and 1 for the Harlequins. They could go entirely different and say, okay, we've got 2 Craft World detachments, and we have a Harlequin detachment, we've got a Corsair detachment, and then a Ynnari detachment. That's an option as well. Yeah. Yvrain has nice feet, though. I've never really looked at the model. When I've been running her, I just use a succubus model and attach I don't know if any of you have been playing long enough, but do you remember back in, I think this would be 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy, so we're talking the late 90s, there was a Neferata on foot, because we now have Neferata on a big dragony thing. We have Neferata on foot, and she was in like a slip carrying a knife, and she had a cat, and the cat was called Bastet. Anyone remembering? We remember Bastet. We stand Bastet. Yeah, it's a fun thing to look up, because Bastet was a cool model and had special rules. You just have them run behind an enemy unit, and that gave that unit bad luck. Great fun. Can you tell I'm holding a cup of tea right now? Yeah, I don't know why she's barefoot. It might be like a Drukhari witch thing. That's explaining why. Yeah. Bring back Toeless Marathi. Oh, the Scourges have bad feet. The Scourges have the topless Marathi. Oh, I see. On the Pegasus. Yeah. I remember that model. I wasn't a massive fan of that model. That was when they were doing weird stuff where it's like, oh yes, did you know that Marathi sleeps with her son? Very strange. They've dropped that from the lore, as far as I know. Yeah, Scourges have the like weird straps under the feet, but no boots to go with it. So that's a weird choice. Vect model was weird. They should do a new Vect model, but I think that'd be quite good. Yeah. There have been quite a few bare feet models to not... More than enough to think that you've been watching quite a few films. Oh, I want to say Scorsese, but it's not Scorsese, is it? Or is it Scorsese that loves his feet? In all the films, there's someone who has like no feet on, with the idea that you can understand someone from the way they move and walk. Tarantino, thank you. Yes. Which I did see with like the Kaon people and Toradora, but these are anime. I'm naming anime now. Unsurprisingly, you may have guessed I watched some anime, but I saw that with the Toradora characters and the Kaon characters, just looking at their ankles, you can recognize who they are just from how they walk and what they wear on their feet. Yeah, so I understand it as a you can see character from how they walk, but okay, we love Toradora and Kaon. These are good anime, yeah. Konosuba for the hand bit, yes. If anyone was thinking, where did I get the whole hand thing for the trailer for this video live stream? I got it from Konosuba. Yes. Toradora is one of the best rom-coms. Daughters of Cain is a fetish army. Maybe. The first season of Konosuba is good. I think it's kind of gotten weaker since then. Yes. Scorsese also does Toradora, Scorsese's greatest work. Yep. Whereas we all love Tarantino's K-On! Okay, I'm going to stick the Eldar on the list because there's people watching the VOD probably that are like, when's he going to put the Eldar in high? Now, are we going to put the Eldar in 55% win rate, or are we still thinking they're going to be about their 56 win rate? We're generally going high. So let's put a 2 for right at the top, a 1 for up to 55%, and I don't think there's anyone thinking lower than that. Still very high. You'd say Eldar are going to be mid? I think they have enough ways of doing things. Okay, we're not going right at the top. More people are agreeing feet. Okay, Aeldari, go there. We'll put them there. And they'll be, I think 54% will be where they end up. I don't think they'll end up being mid. They've lost the Wraith, like the one Wraith block. They have a lot of other things to go for, including the other kind of Wraith Guard that are combat focused. Yeah, they have too much versatility to be really bothered by a nerf. And if you want more Eldar tactics, Proxy Hammer is the Eldar person to go to. And then Games Workshop will buff them again. Yes. Right, since we're talking about Eldar and Ynnari, let's talk about the Dark Eldar themselves. Now, the old detachment still works. And I just need to make a quick note for myself to change a title on a video to like why you should still play the detachment. Because I think that's a better title. We'll see how it is. Do you reckon the Dark Eldar are going to stay the same at like 44% or lower? I don't think the Eldar will drop quite to mid. I think they'll be okay in that upper yellow area. Okay, so Dark Eldar. The real Space Raiders detachment still works. And with a lot of cheap Dark Lancers, and you can get a lot more pain tokens, it's effective at 2,000 points. I think you need to have the higher points levels for it to be a good detachment. Then I would say, yeah, there's no reason not to run the real Space Raiders detachment. But the Sky Splinter Force, it's fun. It is so much fun. It feels like how the detachment, like how the army should be. And that's what I want to see from detachments. It's what I want to see from all of the armies, really. Them to feel like themselves. The Icon and the Incubi Bomb, super strong. Nice. Pain tokens, the only chokehold for the new detachment. There's that. There's the amount of stratagems you need to make the army work. So, yeah, you've got to ration your stratagems. And, as we're saying, IJ Holden 89 is correct. It's easily counted if you can take out the transports. So if you knock out the transports, then they've got nothing to spend their command points on. And they're very easy to break. Yeah, we're looking at toughness 6. So if you think, oh, I can kill a Gravis Marine. If you can kill 2 Gravis Marines in one shooting attack, you can take down an Eldar transport. No problem. And transports, though, are doing quite well in 40k, just 10th edition. There's a lot of rules that support them. Now it's toughness 9 for a Raider. Okay, so Venoms go down quicker. A Raider is... that's still kind of weak as a transport, where a lot of them are going for toughness 10. Or 11. So, yeah, we're wounding things on a 4+ with Melters. That's kind of weak for this edition's vehicles. But it's a detachment that can do shooting, it can do combat, it's faster, it's cheap, and it's fun. So I see a lot of people who have Dark Eldar forces running them. Someone I played who was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to just sell my Dark Eldar. He didn't sell his Dark Eldar, he is now running them in this new detachment. Yes, autocannons. Autocannons are now strength 9. Grenade launchers are strength 9. Raiders are toughness 8. Let's have a look. Do I have them? Okay, I'll bring up their actual stats. Then we can put this to bed. Drukhari, updated Drukhari. We have toughness 7 on the Kronos. That's a pretty good unit in itself, and has been for all of the time. A Ravager is toughness 9. A Raider is toughness 8. A Raider is very weak. And then the Venom... is this alphabetical? Did they want me... it looks to be alphabetical. That's good. They actually put this one alphabetical. Good. Yeah, the Venom is toughness 6. So there you go. Toughness 8 on the Raiders. You can definitely take out them. Did I do a weird... oh, I'm sorry. I was doing an arm thing. It didn't like it when I was scrolling. I'll take my hand off the mouse. Right. Right. Pain Engine looking strong? Yeah. They have a lot going for them. So I'm reckoning that with this new detachment, they'll shoot up from the bottom, where they were on like 44%, all the way up to like 55%? Is that where we're going? I don't know if they're going to get right to the very top. I don't think they're going to exceed Eldar. They'll be in the same place as the Aeldari. I don't know what it's tracking. Oh, it thinks my headphone cable is a hand. That's so weird. You think they'll be mid? Hello, Giran. Hello. We've done Tau already. They're on there. Lots of people were like, Tau. 55% is really strong, we think. Okay. The Dark Eldar have won at least one tournament since their new detachment came out. Still feel they have issues killing non-infantry. They have a lot of Dark Lancers, though. Dark Lancers, they didn't get cheaper on Scourgers, but they got cheaper on the Raiders. And you still have Ravagers. Okay, we'll not put them... Yeah, they can still Dark Lance spam. There's still 20... You can still put out like 20 Dark Lancers. Mid to average, right. I was going to put them in the same place as the Eldar. So I think that's where we're going to go with them. Dark Eldar. There we go. Drukhari. Yeah, we'll see where they end up. They may go like way better than anyone expected. We're happy with that. Okay. Do we have any requests for the other factions that you don't already see on the tier list? So we have... we haven't done Custodes. We haven't done... We'll do Custodes. We'll do Custodes. And then we'll do Orcs. Right. Custodes. I had some notes on Custodes. Custodes, right. And then we'll do... I'm going to do all of the Space Marines... like separately but all together. Right, we'll do Custodes. Yes, finally Custodes. Then we'll do Orcs. Then we'll look at Space Marine stuff. So Custodes, they got their 4+ feel no pain back against devastating wounds, which is great. My hand is just not wanting to track anymore. Is this what happens after 2 hours? It doesn't want to track. Okay. I'll have to keep an eye on that. From the moment when you started Warhammer from 10th edition via Leviathan to spend 2,000 on Space Marines and Tyranids because, oh no. Obviously we need to talk about Titans. I don't think I have Titans. No, I haven't got Titans on the list. I have Imperial Agents though. Yeah. I have some RAM, but it's running a lot of programs at once. It's running the hand tracking program. It's running the face tracking program. The voice lip sync is there. Then I've got, you know, the chat box. Then I've got the browser interaction it's trying to run on this. I also have things like, oh yeah, when we have new people join the channel, that has to link up. And if anyone wanted to drop some tip money, there is a tip link in the description for Ko-fi. That's just some extra pennies. And that will give me the more pennies and gives YouTube no pennies. So if you're like, I don't want YouTube to have money, I want Von Karmian to have money, it's the Ko-fi link in the description that does that. I'm a man of many apps that need to be all running and working at once. Yeah, like I got the anti-aliasing stuff working. That's a whole extra thing on top of just the model tracking. Right, Custodes. Yes, they got their 4+ feel no pain back. It does not enjoy the hands right now. Oh, please stop. Are we resetting the hands now? It should be resetting the hands. What if I want only YouTube money to have money? Oh, I don't know if they have a link for that. Okay, let's reset it. That's better. Yes, better frames per second. It was going to happen at one point or another. And this is why when I do recording videos, I don't think I'll put the hands on, because that'll be a whole nother thing. So, I said that so perfectly. And then I would have to redo the whole thing. Yeah, just subscribe to YouTube Premium. That's probably the way to do it. Yes. That would work. There we are. I am finally wavy arm, inflatable arm, vampire man. Right, what have the Custodes got? So they got the 4+ feel no pain against devastating wounds. I have a video on my channel with exploits for that and how that's going to work. It still works on the non-emissary. That is why they got cheaper. Because they're still very vulnerable to devastating wounds. Their thing only works against mortal wounds. Custodes got that fight back. Now they're not going to be as good as they were at the start of the edition. One of their stratagems was the fight first stratagem. That is no longer a battle tactic. That is an epic deed. People forget that. That was one of the reasons that Custodes were so good right at the start of the edition. So we're going to see that used a bit, but not all of the time. It's not something... well, it's part of the reason we haven't seen Custodes for the past 3 months. that is a battle tactic now. So they're not going to be fighting first all of the time. And if they want to spend all of their stratagems on fight first, if you have, you know, your entire army hitting their entire army, as Orcs and World Eaters should be, then you're still going to be fine in most places. Yeah, they didn't get their 10 men blob back. They were insane with 10 men and fight first. Exactly. And it still feels kind of odd to me that the Sisters of Silence, they are considered their cheap objective holders. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, what do you want to say about Custodes? They boost to plastic units, but I really want to see more Forge units. Ah, the Forge World units, yes. They didn't have them... Did they have them as Legends? I think they have them as Legends units. If they had more Sisters of Silence, that would be nice. I just hold my cup like that. Will the hand stay still? Yeah, doing more Sisters of Silence, or just having good Sisters of Silence. They only have 1 wound now. I think they should have 2 wounds for what they are. Okay. So I've put them... One hand, it's not working. If the hands don't behave, I'll switch to the other model. And then we'll just stop with hands for the today. But we'll see. Yeah, it apparently seems a big bowl of tea. It's because the hands are not linking up to touch each other. I've got them overlapping on the same cup, but they're not quite showing it off. Everyone's supposed to be a one-man army. Yeah, someone has to be the little guy, I guess, but that's why we have Imperial Agents. Right, they were on Custodes. They were very low down, if I remember. Quite low down. 47%. That puts them in... We'll put them out the lower yellow. Are they going to stay there? Or are they... I think they're going to go up to mid. Because it'll be a whole nother thing of, can we stop everything that they've got? Yeah. That Custodes. Adeptus Astartes. I think they'll go higher. Wow, the hand tracking is just not playing. Okay. I'm going to put the Custodes on, but I'm also going to just temporarily disappear. I'm going to need a second to, like, change. Let me find my Custodes thing. Is that a Custodes symbol? No, that's Adeptus. There's a Custodes. I think we'll put them mid. Busy hands. Right. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. But I'm just getting myself sorted. Okay, no more hand tracking. Okay, good. That's down. Just going to put on a different set of clothes as well. If you haven't already, now is a good time to just like the video. That's an option. Oh, there we go. I did pop up on screen. Excellent. Slide to the left. Okay, okay. Now then, we were going to do Orcs next. Smash that like button. Yep, got to pay the like tax. Still want to do Custodes versus the Endless Swarm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that could be fun. That could be fun. 80... Oh, it's fine. The boys, right? We'll do the boys. So, the Orcs. What do I have for the Orcs? They are... Okay, they're kind of like the World Eaters. They don't like being tied up early. So, if you have something that's a good screen, if you've got something that's going to get in the way to block them, like lots of scouts. If you have something to infiltrate and tie them up first turn, like the Genestealers, the Orcs do not like that. They relied heavily on the trucks, but the trucks have gone up in points. They're still valid, but you'll also see that the battle wagons have gone down in points. And also, the Orcs have da jump. They can da jump across the field. Yeah. The screens, we can da jump over them. So they're still going to be very good. So, oh, you're thinking low mid? I was thinking mid, but like a good mid. We saw that Games Workshop didn't really have to do a lot, and people were able to counter the sheer amount of transports that were coming their way. So mid is probably where they're going to end up. Melee army, it's doing okay this edition. Commandos being able to infiltrate and counter enemy screens. Yeah, that works. So they have a lot of tools available. They have a lot of units. They still have Gretchen. We'll see how they do for their points. But we'll put them in mid for now, knowing full well that they're going to get a Codex soon. And when they get their Codex, they're going to just shoot up or shoot down whatever's going to happen. We've tended to see that a lot of people go down when their Codex is released. I think part of that is because a lot of new players want to try the detachment for themselves, and when they do, they're not actually that good. Like, the player isn't that good rather than the detachment, or they try unusual detachments that aren't super designed for tournament play, really. Got tanks and killer cans. Yeah, Gretchen Horde detachment will be fun if you can then get all of your legends and your Forge World units and things like that. Grot tanks, get the Grot tanks, make them mainstream maybe. Okay, good for the Grots. Oh yeah, we need to talk about the Imperial Agents. Now, there was one person at one tournament in London that took Imperial Agents, and they had something like, after the 5 games, they won 3 of them, so that's a 60% win rate, just on Imperial Agents. So we can say that, oh, Imperial Agents, from all the stats we have, they are one of the top performing factions. Games Workshop doesn't track them, and I don't think Goonhammer tracks them either. So they're not showing up by themselves. But yeah, Imperial Agents, they do quite well. Inquisitors plus your Grey Knights, it's a good combo. Putting them into a lot of different things. Yeah, add the Assassins. A lot of people were using the Assassins early in the edition. The Vindicare Assassin was very popular for taking out, like, Necron characters in the Awakened Dynasty. Now that we have the slightly less awakened but kind of still functioning dynasty, we're not seeing that played as much, so they're not needed as much. And Genestealer Cults, snipers are still very effective against them. When you were playing Grey Knights, they were called the Ordo Malleus. Haha, yeah. Another thing Imperial Agents takes me back to is the Codex Witch Hunters in 3rd edition. So there you have your elite, like Kazakin types, your stormtroopers, the EP dynasty. Yeah, you add them to knights. So yes, they are far too powerful, Imperial Agents. They just don't have a detachment of their own, which is fine, but they have a new rule to say, hey, yeah, you'd skip the choose attachment thing, so you can indeed have an army of entirely Agents of the Imperium. Yeah, Demon Hunters had them as well. If you took a Demon Host, you couldn't field Grey Knights. Oh my. That's fluffy thing, definitely. Right. This different tracking. It's not enjoying me trying to drink tea. But it's going okay. Right, so that's Imperial Agents. We have... I think we just have all of the Space Marine kinds left. Yeah. Because we have done the Orcs, we've done the Tyranids, we've done the Custodes, we've done the Sisters, we've done Imperial Knights and Chaos Demons and Thousand Suns. Are they on the list? They look to be on the list. Yep. We put them mid with their Zangors. We've done the Death Guard, we've done the Votann, we've done the World Eaters and Chaos Space Marines and the Dark Eldar and Eldar. Tau, we talked about the battle suits. Imperial Guard, we did them early and talked about the minor change to orders. We put AdMech straight at the bottom. Okay, all of the Space Marines. Now then, I'm going to start with the Death Watch, because I have been playing that. Oh, is there a good way to magnetize Ridge Runners as you're building them right now? I didn't buy an official Ridge Runner model, so I'm not the best person to ask. I don't know if there's a good way to magnetize them, but I think you can magnetize the little cup person, the one that goes in like the spotter thing, or you have an auger array. I think that should be able to magnetize relatively well, because it is just something you drop in, if I remember. I'll put on the top. This is a model, I'm describing a model I don't have, so maybe I can't be of the best help, but some of it should be magnetizable. I just don't know the best way to do it. Yeah, only the Marines left. So, just half done. I know. Death Watch. I'm going to start with Death Watch because that's the newest army I have. That's the one I've been playing quite a bit. They are expensive. So, all of the kill teams are still really high in points. A Proteus kill team is 360 points. And for that you get 4 Terminators, or you have to run it as 4 Terminators, a bike, and 5 Veterans. 5 Veterans is 110 points. 5 Terminators is 200 points. That adds up to 310 points. And then you get a 50-point additional tax, because you're making the unit toughness 5 when normally it would just be toughness 4. And there's a special way that kill teams work so that they're not as good for toughness compared to every other faction anyway. The way it works for toughness in other factions is if there's a bodyguard model that has the highest toughness, you use them. There is an exception for Grots and the Grot Herder. So they always use the toughness 2 rather than the toughness 5. Yeah. Are the Ultramarines winning? The Ultramarines are doing pretty well, actually. Yeah. Okay, oh yeah, don't add characters to the Proteus kill team, because then you're changing the average leadership. And I think the leadership then, not the leadership, the toughness, which then puts it down to toughness 4. So there's a whole, like, kill team, if I've understood it correctly, that you can't really add characters to. So yes, Deathwatch have a rule that overrides the normal, like, page 16 rules commentary rule. Yeah, and then there's no points reduction for the Fortis kill team. That's all of the Primarchs units. So even though the Intercessors and the Assault Intercessors went down in points, they didn't go down in points for the Deathwatch. It's still, well, it's now 35 more points just to run the Intercessors, but you don't get the sticky objectives. You can add in, like, a couple of Plasma dudes, but you can't add Desolation Marines, you can't add Infernus Marines, you can't do a great counter to Deep Strike. Yes, they have always indeed been a hot mess. And they've been like, oh yeah, this is crazy, this is the best way to play it. For, you know, the first 5 minutes of this edition. But that's been it. So points went down for Space Marines, they didn't go down for the kill teams. So the way to play Deathwatch is to play regular Space Marines and then add in like 1 or 2 Deathwatch units. Kill Team Cassius is pretty good as like, here's a kill team that deep strikes standard. And it's actually costed as if it's a better Proteus kill team. It's 255 points, and you get a Librarian. Not the best Librarian. He doesn't give you a 4+ invulnerable save. He gives you a 4+ save against psychic attacks. Yeah. If they give the special ammunition ammo to everyone, as they've done with the Eldar and the Bladestorm ability, that could work. But they haven't. What they can do, I tried it yesterday, is playing Deathwatch using Space Wolves rules. I know it's horrifying, I know it's not a betrayal of vampirism, we weren't actually playing any real wolves. It was just, okay, they have pack leaders, so if I want to add 1 Terminator to this squad of veterans, I can. And that's really good. If you want to, I know, the horror, it's awful. But that's just how bad the Deathwatch are. So they've got some really nice units. If you want, oh, I could have a Deathwatch veteran team with power hammers and shields and stuff. Well, Wolfen, they now have hammers with damage 2. Yeah, you can see hair coming out of my ears. No, you can't. I didn't actually play any wolves. I just had to prove that anyone can play Space Wolves better than the actual Space Wolves. That's what my plan was. Oh, this is an Underworld movie. Oh, that was a good film. I enjoyed that film. It was awful, and I enjoyed it a lot. Stop doing literal dog whistles. So, trying out the Space Wolf way of play might be a good way of doing it so that as you're building up your kill teams, you can learn and grow Space Marines. Yeah, like that. There's quite a few Underworld movies. I think there's 4 of them. Maybe 5 of them by now. I think it was 4. They stopped at 4. It got crazy. It really got crazy, especially since one of the leads left after the first film, but they still needed to make all of the subsequent films about him. Yeah, it was odd. So, yeah, if they had their stratagems on bolt weapons, where they do have the stratagems that are on bolt weapons, regular Space Marines that are not the specialist Deathwatch units, they do it better. So, intercessors with a lot of bolt guns, their special things, what are they called? Auto bolt rifles. Those are bolt guns. They like the Deathwatch special ammunition more than the Deathwatch units. Sure, when you use the stratagem, 2 Deathwatch kill teams can use it for the price of 1, but that's kind of the same as just using a special Primarchs unit that's got a lot of bolt weapons. The aggressors with their bolt storm guns, they get the special ammunition. That's a better way to do it. So running Space Marines in a Deathwatch detachment can often be better than running the Deathwatch themselves. So however you look at it, either by Deathwatch units or by Deathwatch Black Spear detachment, they're terrible. So where are they? Deathwatch. Is that a Deathwatch symbol? Deathwatch. There we go. They are going right at the bottom. And there are very few players who play Deathwatch. So that's just a shame. There's only one Underworld movie, you can't convince me otherwise. I'll stick with that. Yeah. So Deathwatch are at the bottom. Okay, what about the Space Wolves themselves? They got a lot of Lightning Claw buffs, so a lot of the things that were hitting on 3+ are now hitting on 2+ for their captain equivalents. The Wolf and Hammer's now damage 2. They trade really well. Sure, they're always objective control 0, but you don't take them for that. They have better tactical marines. In Grey Hunters, which are, you get 5 guys, so it's already split for you, and you have 2 special weapons per 5, plus the sergeant. And then you can add on a pack leader in Terminator armor or regular armor as well. That's a weird thing. You can just have, here's a pack leader, but in Terminator armor, which kind of makes sense since they're pack leaders. What are they? I can't remember what the veteran's called. Oh yeah, the Wolfen are absolutely terrible models. Wolf Guard. Yeah, the Wolf Guard are already in Terminator armor, so it didn't make sense to add a Wolf Guard to a Wolf Guard unit anyway. I like the old ones as well. The, 3rd edition metal ones? Maybe 4th edition. I'm trying to remember when it was 2001, no, 2003, that the Eye of Terror campaign came back. Yeah, so that would be either 3rd or 4th edition. I think 3rd edition, okay. 3rd edition lasted a while. When we're more used to like, oh yeah, 8th, 9th, 10th edition, they're all going to last 3 years? Are they even going to last 3 years? 1.5? It seems like they throw out editions really, really quickly. Late 2004 was 4th edition. That makes sense. Yeah, we got quite a lot of years of 3rd edition. I was still playing 2nd edition for like a couple of years, even as 3rd edition came out. I think it was only like 99 or the year 2000 that I switched to 3rd edition. Yes, I absolutely loved the Eye of Terror book. And it had the really cool mutants. Because there was a Chaos Lost on the Damned, which was, here's your traitors, here's your mutants, here's your big mutants. Here's a generic Chaos Space Marine dude who can lead those units. And then there was like Warp Hounds and Chaos Spawn, but really good Chaos Spawn that had like a 3+ save and a lot of wounds. Oh yeah, they were good. City Fight was a really good book as well. That was 4th edition, if I remember. That was good. And they've tried to remake that since then. It just has never been the best. Here's your child soldiers. Yeah, your white shields for the Cadians. They had a whole Cadian thing. They were some of the best rules Games Workshop ever wrote. Yes, that was a 3rd edition thing. Oh, City Fight was 3rd edition. Nice. 3rd edition had a lot of good stuff. Definitely. Oh yeah. 3rd edition was really good for like the orcs though. The orcs did well in the because the way consolidation worked, there was no falling back. You just were now fighting again. There's no escape. And with the number of terrain features in City Fight, the orcs were not getting shot where they would normally run across the board. And then, yeah, we're in combat. Turn 2. Hello. I have an axe in your face. 3rd edition Tyranid Codex was fun because you could customize your models. And they had something called the Von Ryan's Leapers mentioned in that one. I don't know if anyone's heard of those. Yeah. Right, the Space Wolves, I'll make this as brief as possible. The Stormlance detachment is doing really well when you add in the Thunderwolf Cavalry. So that was a good way of doing it. So yeah, I see Space Wolves doing quite well. They were 55. They were quite high if I remember. Yeah, 52%, so about mid. I think they'll probably go up, if anything. They have a lot of unit choices. Iron Hand, Salamanders. That looks like a Space Wolf. I think they're going to go up a bit more. Because the Stormlance way of running them still works really well. You can have a lot of different specialist units. And you can pick the best detachments you want. I did try the Space Wolf detachment. And by the end of it, I had completed all 4 sagas. Which was kind of cool. But it didn't really do that much. And you have to earn them. And I was really missing the Gladius detachment, Advance and Charge. That's the bit that's important. So I also have, for this tier list, the different detachments for Space Marines. So if I can find White Scars, I'm also putting them up there. But only if you're taking them with Space Wolves. That's when the Stormlance detachment is the best one. Yes. And then you can think of them as like White Scars, like a White Scars successor chapter, but they ride mechanical wolves. You can have your own personal law. So you can absolutely do, at least in this edition, I'm not saying it'll last. Don't hope that it'll stay for like the next 10 years. But for this edition, you can do White Scars on wolves. And that's a cool way to have it. Yeah, I would love to see some more Traitor Guard stuff as well. They have a unit, which is quite nice. But yeah. Shout out to the people playing White Scars. Good for them. Okay, all of the regular Space Marine things. Now, the Imperial Fists ones, it's going there. The Imperial Fist detachment is a lot to do with Gravis. And a lot of the points increases were on Gravis Marines. Or like Centurions, and the Imperial Fist detachment really likes them. Also, they can work better in the Raven Guard detachment. The Raven Guard detachment is really good for stealth. Well, you get cover, but as we've seen from my cover video, pretty much everyone's getting cover all of the time, especially on tournament boards. And -1 to hit, so everything's getting stealth. And with a stratagem, no, with an enhancement, you can infiltrate. And you're picking, there's a lot of really odd units being picked. So Manius Calgar is in Gravis armor. You put him with some Gravis Marines, not necessarily heavy intercessors, but the, what are they called? The ones with the fists and the bolt storm guns that also have rocket packs on their back. Yeah, I'm not remembering their name. Can't remember it. It's not coming to me. Aggressors, there it is. Thank you, Vrillor and the Lost. And Random Task. Yes, so we have aggressors. They go in, they infiltrate, and suddenly you're really close to the enemy and you're doing a lot of firepower. The only way you can do that enhancement is if you also add another character to that squad. So you add an Apothecary Biologus. The one who's like, oh, I'm not going to actually heal you. I'm going to make you shoot better and tell you that if the enemy is dead, I don't need to heal you. That's how we're doing it. Also, they're doing like weird field research stuff, so that's how it works. Yes. So they make you shoot gun better. So that's working really well. I think it's still probably going to end up being made because of the points increase. Raven Guard. That looks like a Raven Guard. Yeah, it says Raven Guard. I don't have it full screen, so I can't see as much. You don't need healing if your enemies are dead. That's the thought process, indeed. So, okay, got Raven Guard. What's the other one? I think the standard Gladius detachment is still quite good. They're ending up pretty mid as Ultramarines. We have... We're not done Dark Angels. No, we haven't done Dark Angels yet. Salamanders, if you have the transports, it's mid. Some people are doing really well on it. Some people are not so much. So Space Marines overall, we do have enough space to fit one more, I think. Oh, it just extends. Oh, that's fun. That works. I'll just make this bigger. There, it all fits. Yeah, so Space Marines, they're a very mid faction. They've been about the 48%. Yeah, 48%, so that's very mid. We have... Is that... Oh, yes, there's the Iron Hands as well. Now, they're a lot of Dreadnoughts. I don't know how people are feeling about being able to take on lots of Dreadnoughts. Is it also kind of mid? I'm not seeing it being, like, super, super powerful. But if you can't take on Imperial Knights, you're not going to be able to take on that many Dreadnoughts. But vice versa, you probably are more likely to take on Dreadnoughts and War Dogs, not necessarily the bigger Imperial Knights. So I think they're also going to be, yeah, it's mid. I'm happy with that random task. It's a mid thing. Now we just have the 3 extra bits, right? So Blood Angels. When they're in the Sons of Sanguinius detachment, and only in the Sons of Sanguinius detachment, which is very close combat focused, they're getting extra strength, they're getting extra attacks. I'm willing to try that detachment at some point. But they can still do the Gladius detachment, which is pretty good for combat. Then your combat specialist units can advance and charge. They can fall back and charge. Yeah, the detachment itself hasn't massively gone up. So even though we've got some very useful detachment choices, we're not able to just say we've got some really good unit choices. Their elite ones are still very expensive. So we're not going to see them taken more. Are they going to be low, but not right at the bottom? They're probably not going to be right at the bottom. Blood Angels were 45%, scraping 45%. It is a buff. I think we'll say it's definitely a buff. Still bad? Probably still bad. Yeah. I'll put them lower down. I'll give it a go. I haven't given it a go. If there are any Blood Angels players that want to contradict me, they'll be as low as 45%. That's where we'll go with. I haven't played against them either. 69. Oh, Mickey, no. There's no 69% plus, because no one's got to 69% before. The Aeldari were at 67% at the start of the 10th edition. But yeah, that's as far as it's gone. The Blood Angel detachment needs some extra data slate spice like they gave the Death Guard. Probably does, rather than just, here's even more strength. Because strength 6, sure, that's going to help against some of the tougher units. Yeah, it's not... I think it's useful, but I don't know how much it actually changes things. That was my concern. Yeah, an extra point of strength isn't going to do that much compared to being strength 5 anyway. Now, if you have a lot of power swords and you can bring power swords, those are now strength 7. Yeah, I can see that. Right, we'll talk about the Dark Angels then. They have 3 detachments now. Their main detachment is still pretty bad because it relies on being battle shocked. Their Hunt the Fallen bike detachment is not the best one. And their First Company Death Wing detachment, it's... They have some weird points at the moment. We don't know how the points are going to work because they're not officially released yet. Because their book isn't out by itself, which means they haven't got points for it. So what they'll do is when the book is released by itself, which is going to be another couple of weeks, I think, then a week or 2 after that, they will do a data slates thing, like a points increase just for them to say, okay, ignore the points that are in the Codex. These are the new points. And don't forget you still have your Legends units if you want to still use them. That's an option. The Dark Angels, I think they are on the more bad side. They were at 47%. I think that's more on the low side. Yeah, that's definitely on the low thing. They're going to change because their points are going to change. I'm still thinking low. Are we going to put them even low? So, are we thinking mid, low mid, or bottom tier? Along with things like the Death Watch. 45%, they'll go as low as 45%. So that's mid, bottom, low mid, lower mid. Ah, the Deathwing Knights are limited to 5-man units. And the Deathwing Command Squad, which was one of their best things, has gone to Legend. So in tournaments, and if we're thinking tournament ratings, that's going to definitely keep them down. Space Marines with Azrael considered Dark Angels for this or not? I would say so. Yes, because then we're at least considering the Dark Angels units. If it's something like with the Death Watch, where the units themselves were bad and the detachment is bad, that's not helping them. So yeah, I would say Space Marine detachments like Gladius Task Force with Azrael, we would count that as a Dark Angels thing. So I'm think we're going with 45, unless there's any... The Deathwing units are weaker. Ah, yeah. So we've seen the codexes, at least for this edition, and I'm happy about this, tend to be a reduction in power rather than an increase in power. Because we didn't like power creep. And I think Games Workshop is getting that message. But the benefit of the Codex is you get more ways to play. Okay, if they get an extra command point, they can be up there. I think we'll go with 45%. The lower level. Which just leaves the Black Templars. So, the Black Templars were not listed on Games Workshop's meta. They just completely forgot them. Goonhammer had them at 54%, and they're someone who tracks tournaments and stuff. They had their points reduced on their Firstborn Crusaders, but they still have the Primaris Crusader squad. That doesn't give you as many like las cannons and melter guns. You've got some power fists or heavy flamers. But their vehicles are still very good, and they can take more vehicles than anyone else. Because like if you want 3 Lancers and 3 Gladiator Lancers, I think that's the different terminologies, you can do that in a Black Templars list. And then you can do the Iron Hail, Iron Hands kind of detachment. So they're skewing them a bit more towards the vehicles. Their detachment itself is really good and versatile. You need Feel No Pain, you got it. You're fighting Thousand Suns, you can be anti-psyker, and you decide that in the battle, not beforehand. Black Templars are pretty huge. The nerfs didn't hit them too much. Yeah, Space Marines but better. Space Marines but cheaper is another way of thinking of it. They can have lethal hits? They can. Is the lethal hits just in combat, I think? I can't remember. I think when I did it with them, oh, they do have the really powerful Sword Brethren still, and the Emperor's Champion is still really powerful. They have a lot, yeah. It's melee only, yeah. Most of their strongest enemies also got nerfed. Yeah, the Sword Brethren are chosen, but they cost less than chosen. I think the Sword Brethren are also better than the Space Marine Blade Guard. So I think we're putting them up there. They're still going to be around the 55% win rate. Maybe, I think, 53, 54% is probably how we'll do it. So, that is the tier list. All of it. All of the factions. And if it goes wrong or it's different to that, I'm going to blame you. Because I was asking your opinions. We did this live for a reason. It's so I have complete deniability. That's why. And it wasn't my opinions in the slightest. Good. And we have been going for, 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's definitely a while. You think the guard will be 44% or less? We'll see. We'll see. Oh, hello, Agreltal. Yeah, it's going to be quite a long one, though. I mean, I'll stick around for... I'll do 5 more minutes, but I am... Even with the tea, I'm running out of throat energy. That's not the right way to phrase that at all. My throat is getting tired. No, that's still not the right way to phrase it. I have sore voice and my hand stopped working about 40 minutes ago. Let me close that. I'll put, you can be bigger, chat. You get to be a bigger chat. There we go. There's still only one Underworld movie. Yeah, that's probably true. Oh, right. So this coming week. Yes, it's very much that's what she said. That wasn't the intention. But there we go. Oh no, I bring this on myself. I bring it on myself. Ooh, let's assume I got access to a 3D printer. Actually, all I'm thinking now is a regular photocopier printer, like a paper printer, but every time it prints a piece of paper, it has D, D, D written on the top, and that's a 3D printer. Oh, I'm so witty. If I could print exactly one Sororitas squad, what would it be? I would probably just print the Novitiates, because the Novitiates you can convert into all of the characters. You want any Space Sister, Adeptus Sororitas Sister character, you can get them through the Novitiate squad. Yes, it's a good thing that's what she said. Print hand flamers, print multi-melters, all of these are an option. Or if you're doing 3D printing, really you just want to do a tank. Exorcist maybe? Get an immolator perhaps? There can be some quite nice looking immolators. I'm going to do a tier list. Well, like a voting list of immolators. So that'll be a thing, I reckon, for tomorrow. And we'll see choose the best immolator. Yes, I'll put that on the community tab on YouTube. Oh, right. So this coming week, it's going to be a Sisters Week. Sisters, am I pronouncing words correctly? Sisters Week. No, Sisters Strong. Sisters Strong. But a week of Sisters. So I'll have 3 Sisters videos, and one of them should be the 1000 points, how to play Sisters at that size, what units are good, many different army lists to advise on. And I'll try and do that one as a premiere so you can all be there while it's happening. Just be like, strap yourselves in, it may be a long one. Yeah, so we love Sisters. It's nice to get back to doing Sisters content, as I feel I've been doing quite a lot of lots of different stuff. Just all of the 40k, generic 40k, rather than the factions that I talk about the most. Bring back the Repressor? Ooh, yeah. Use it, definitely. You nearly have 1000 point Sisters army. Excellent. Wonderful. So that's a thing to look forward to. I will see you at the premiere once I've done the video. Print the entire church. Yeah. Okay, my darlings and viewers. I will see you then.